The following is a product of Studio 42.
Bounds up the middle. He's got a big seam. He's got a first down and more. Look out. 20, 15, 10. Kiss him goodbye. 56 yards for Knox Mounds on 3rd and 10.
From Studio 42, this is Howe Bulldogs football.
Deep down the field to the right side, looking for Strong. Goes up, comes down with it at the 48. He's off to the races.
Howe Bulldogs football is brought to you by Scoggins Funeral Home, Baker Air Conditioning and Heating, South State Bank, GC Easy, Sonic of Howe.
Intercepted. Eli Stoner down the sideline.
Also brought to you by Brother Plumber, Rock Hill Investments, MTE Fence, Centurion American, Ed Meacham State Farm, Rapid Electric.
No, Bender's going to pull it out of his gut. And he's got a lot of room, and he's got a touchdown. Stick that one in the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas.
Put his foot in the ground, went to the right side, and there was nobody in the stadium going to catch him.
Also brought to you by All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights, TechWave, First Baptist Church of Howe, Kingdom Inflatables, Acres Boat and RV Storage, The Love Cottage.
Knox leaps and bounds into the end zone for a 20-yarder.
It's really the line. When you have 4 cut blocks that leave 4 linemen on the ground, I mean, that's easy work. That's a 75-yarder all day long.
Also brought to you by Howe Athletic Booster Club, Michelle Carney Photography, Texoma Land and Home Team, the Crazy AC Guy.
And with that, Justin White, it is football time in Texas 2025 style.
Now let's open the Rapid Electric tailgate party and join the voice of the Howe Bulldogs, Lonnie Walker.
Two teams will face each other that have a very long history against each other. It's not a highway rivalry by any means, but the Howe and Pilot Point matchup goes back to the Bulldogs' game number 8 in the initial season of 1935. This is game number 37 between the two schools. Both teams are in a progression mode, but Pilot Point is a little ahead of the curve with a lot of returning starters. The Bearcats head coach Chad Worrell, formerly at Brock, will square off with Howe head coach Jake Smith, who also brings experience from a big school and a legacy program of Ennis. The Bearcats are 2-1 with wins over Bonham and Callisburg, while Howe is 1-2 with the win coming in a lightning-shortened game at Bonham. Howe and Coach Smith are looking for their first win at Bulldog Stadium, but the Bearcats will not be an easy flip of the V. It's Howe versus Pilot Point, and it's football time in Texas.
You're listening to the Rapid Electric tailgate party.
Here's some things to never mess with if you're not a trained professional. Caging a bulldog, removing copperheads, and electricity. Don't get shocked. Call Rapid Electric. Rapid Electric is here for all your electrical needs. Just like you wouldn't try to become a pro boxer or president.
Give me a break.
You need a pro to keep your electricity humming. Don't get shocked. Rapid Electric serves the Grayson County area. Call them at 903-421-8100.
If your home or business could talk, what would it say? It may say it would like some privacy or security. Enjoy the beauty and durability of quality fencing from MTE Fence. MTE Fence is a local company specializing in commercial and residential fencing. MTE Fence ranges from wood, aluminum, and chain link fencing. MTE Fence services all of Grayson County and surrounding areas. Go to mtefence.com or call 903-686-9039 for an estimate. MTE Fence has a passion for connection. We are your connection for quality.
All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights is proud to sponsor the Pride of Howe High School's Bandsman of the Week. Your hometown Bulldog alumni owned and operated business is here for all your seamless gutter and outdoor Christmas lights needs. Give them a call at 903-819-9183 and let them make your house shine really bright this Christmas. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights. Give them a call at 903-819-9183. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights.
This is Bulldogs head coach Jake Smith, and it didn't take me long to get to know where Sonic of Howe is. After practice or games, I like to head down to 105 North Collins Freeway, grab a burger, tots, and a shake. As a matter of fact, I like to say, it's Sonic time in Texas.
Yeah, Coach, that's kind of my thing.
Oh, okay. How about Sonic really brings the hammer down?
Coach, that's kind of my thing.
With Sonic, I'm highly motivated, truly dedicated.
Yeah, Coach, that's another one of my lines.
How about this? It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Yeah, I like that.
Hey, Steve here, the Crazy AC Guy. We raise top-notch AC units and train the finest service techs west of the Mississippi. And we got a truly crazy deal for you. Get a free furnace with the purchase of a qualified AC condenser coil package. You'd have to be crazy like me to miss this deal. So for all your AC and electrical needs, call us at 903-465-2665 or visit us at crazyacguy.com.
The Crazy AC Guy, where crazy meets quality.
You're listening to the Rapid Electric Tailgate Party. Let's join Monty Walker with the MTE Fence Senior Spotlight.
This week's Senior Spotlight is Alex Mejia. Now, when did you start school and how?
I came Howe 6th grade.
And what do you remember about middle school in general?
Well, I made friends like Noah Chrisman. It was my first friend in Howe. So I remember Noah.
What about Clay Wilson? What kind of guy is he?
Mr. Wilson? I like him. He's a good dude.
Do you have a favorite teacher here at Howe High School?
Yeah, it's probably Miss Camp. I had her in sophomore year, so she's been my favorite. She's really a great inspiration, really motivates everybody.
What about a favorite coach?
I would have to say Coach Smith.
Any particular reason?
He really flipped the switch on us, and I have to say, like, he's a great role model for us.
You've really excelled at the defensive end position. What is it about that makes you so effective?
Well, I've been playing that position for a while, and really just working on it more. I've been getting more comfortable in that position.
Do you participate in any other activities at Howe High School?
I high jump and track.
Okay. You talked about Coach Smith a moment ago. You've had 3 different head coaches in 3 years. How hard is it to make those adjustments with different schemes and different philosophies?
It's a challenge for the scheme, but I mean, Coach Smith he's really different. And I can tell by the way he coaches that he's really passionate about making us better and making us better humans.
You're listening to the MTE Fence Senior Spotlight with Alex Mejia. We'll be right back.
If your home or business could talk, what would it say? It may say it would like some privacy or security. Enjoy the beauty and durability of quality fencing from MTE Fence. MTE Fence is a local company specializing in commercial and residential fencing. MTE Fence ranges from wood, aluminum, and chain link fencing. MTE Fence services all of Grayson County and surrounding areas. Go to mtefence.com or call 903-686-9039 for an estimate. MTE Fence has a passion for connection. We are your connection for quality.
You're listening to the MTE Fence Senior Spotlight with Alex Mejia. You know, you've talked about this, but what are your thoughts on head coach Jake Smith and his staff and what they've brought so far and what makes them different?
Well, Coach Smith's really intelligent about really anything in football. He really knows what he's talking about, and he has a lot of experience. Yeah, that's the word, experience. He has a lot of experience, and he really talks a lot about making us better people and improving us as humans.
Last week, Bowie brought a great quarterback to Bulldog Stadium, but you held him in check for much of the game. Despite the loss, I would imagine that only gives your defense confidence heading into this week.
Yeah, we're getting used to a new defense, but every day we're working, we're getting better, and it's really just the beginning. We're really improving. Coach Smith is really helping us.
Senior year, what's the expectations for this team?
I expect us to go to playoffs. You know, we're working every day, and it might not seem like it, but Coach Smith and his crew is really the best coaching staff.
As a senior, how do you show your leadership on this team?
Really just bring your voice out, talking to the younger people, motivating them, and talking to them.
Pilot Point is another team in a higher classification. How do you stop them Friday night?
It's going to take all of us, you know, Coach Smith and all the staff. We really can't do it alone. We got to be more physical, win the hitting contest.
We were walking up here and someone, one of your coaches said, hey, call him the Honduran. And so I asked you about that. And so we may have a new nickname, and I think I'm going to throw Mad in there, the Mad Honduran. So why Honduran?
Well, my family's from Honduras, so I don't know. One day Coach told me, he said to play like a crazy Mexican. And I said, Coach, I'm not even Mexican. And that's where the name came from.
So the Mad Honduran is your senior spotlight, and that is Alex Mejia.
Tonight's Senior Spotlight has been brought to you by MTE Fence. You're listening to the Rapid Electric Tailgate Party.
Here's some things to never mess with if you're not a trained professional. Caging a bulldog. Removing copperheads. And electricity. Don't get shocked. Call Rapid Electric. Rapid Electric is here for all your electrical needs. Just like you wouldn't try to become a pro boxer or president.
Give me a break.
You need a pro to keep your electricity humming. Don't get shocked. Rapid Electric serves the Grayson County area. Call them at 903-421-8100. Who's your local plumber? Brother Plumber. It's good to know someone local and someone you can trust when your home or office drops the ball.
Main line break, 15 yards.
Brother Plumber is plumb professional and serves not only Howe, but also all of Grayson County. And you can save yourself 10% if you mention Go Bulldogs. Visit us online at brotherplumber.com. We'd love to help. Brother Plumber is one call away at 469-968-4487. Visit us online at brotherplumber.com. Remember, Go Bulldogs.
At Grayson Cullen Electric Cooperative, GCEC, we have been around for over 80 years and are governed by 7 principles: open and voluntary membership, democratic member control, members' economic participation, autonomy and independence, education, training, and information, cooperation among cooperatives, and concern for community. One of our communities is Howe, Texas, and GCEC is proud to support the Howe Bulldogs.
No one wants to talk about losing a loved one. The grief that is put on your family is troublesome. Scoggins Funeral Home strives to make that most difficult time the easiest. We want your loved one to be sent off in the best way possible, with your wishes at heart. Call us at 903-482-5225 or visit our website at scogginsfuneralhome.com. 903-482-5225. Our location on Van Alstyne Parkway makes everything close for your needs. 903-482-5225. Scoggins Funeral Home.
Hey, Steve here, the crazy AC guy. We raise top-notch AC units and train the finest service techs west of the Mississippi. And we got a truly crazy deal for you. Get a free furnace with the purchase of a qualified AC condenser coil package. You'd have to be crazy like me to miss this deal. So for all your AC and electrical needs, call us at 903-465-2665 or visit us at crazyacguy.com.
The crazy AC guy, where crazy meets quality.
You're listening to the Rapid Electric Tailgate Party. Let's join Monty Walker with the Rock Hill Investments Coach's Corner with Bulldogs head coach Jake Smith.
Coach Bowie presented some challenges last week with quarterback Raider Mann and receiver Tyler Phillips, but your team were in the thick of things for 3 quarters, limiting their exposure to the end zone.
I think this is one of the first weeks where we felt like the kids executed our game plan. Like going in really with 2 minutes to go in the game, they only had 108 yards rushing, and those 2 last explosive plays that we gave up obviously put them over 200 yards rushing. But the whole game plan was based on film. Like, we knew the quarterback was good. We knew Raider Mann could throw the ball decent enough. But we felt like some of the different pass rush moves that we put on that week where we were going to contain him, and we put a little bit more pressure on our back 7 where they're going to have to cover a little bit longer or quite a bit longer depending on the play. And, the kids understood that and they grasped that. And, anytime you can hold a quarterback under 200 yards passing up until the 4th quarter, you feel pretty good about that because he is a really good quarterback. But being really good with our rushing defense, that's another bright spot that we always like to harp on, because the cardinal sin in our defense is allowing our opponent to be able to run the ball vertical, and they really weren't able to run the ball vertical on us. They hit us on the perimeter with just a couple bad fits, but other than that, I feel like the kids really grasped the defensive game plan and they executed it to the best of their ability. And with 6:35 left in the game, it's 27-20, and we felt like we always had the game in control where we could go in, and even though offense wasn't doing too well at that point, we felt like we were still in grasp of taking that thing and getting a victory at home.
After a tough loss like that, what'd you tell the team after the game?
I just told them that I was proud of them and how, we never saw any quit. Our kids kept on swinging, and we gave ourselves opportunity when we were down 33-20. Deacon got out of a rush and turned into scramble drill, and Garrett Rogers was wide open on our sideline. We just didn't execute the football play, but there's no doubt in my mind we get in that situation again, Garrett Rogers is going to come down with the catch, and he'll score and make it a one-possession game. And then again, you never know with the onside kick, or if defense forces another turnover. We felt like we're in the grass with that, so I just harped on all those positives. And then Saturday, we used Wardboard. It's a football software that's developed by our offensive line coach, and based on the raw data that we input, it gives you the win-loss differential. And from week one, we were 9.7 plays difference determining whether you win or lose a football game. And within 2 short weeks from the Boyd game, we're now looking at 3.3 play differential. So just telling the kids to stick with it, continue to work hard. And, if you can fix some minor things, and that if you make one more play, if you're +1 in the win-loss differential, then you're a pretty good football team.
Just as we bragged on sophomore quarterback Deacon Bender a week ago, there were multiple delay of game calls. I guess it's best to get those out of the way when the games don't really count.
Yeah, I think some of those were pretty frustrating when it comes to making play calls where, we had some injuries and we had some cramps going on, and we had some kids going in there, and we had some personnel changes that we had to make, and whether we were in a different personnel group or if we just had actual different kids at different positions. And, that obviously I told the coaches Saturday night that our kids played well enough to win the football game, and that loss was 100% on the coaches. And I believe that the delayed games were on the coaching staff as well. So not only do we have to hold the kids to the fire, we got to hold ourselves to the fire. And a couple of those delayed games, those were taken based on the situations where we had to hold on to the 2 timeouts that we had left, because we felt like we were at grasp of taking over that thing and winning it. So we had to save some, but also taking one for punt. Just based on situations. So not all of it was through the quarterback. I would say we need to take ownership, and like I tell the kids, you need to be a thumb pointer a little bit more, and so we're going to point the thumb at us coaches on those delayed games.
Defensively, Brevin Mayo came up with some big plays. Talk about his progression.
Yeah, he was the one that kind of came in fall camp kind of late, and he had to play a JV game, get a little bit more development, and get a new grasp on the new defensive scheme. And then because of certain circumstances that happened a week ago, he had a really, really good week, and I felt like he earned that spot to start this week against Bowie. And he did a really good job at executing his scheme. Obviously there's some things that he still needs to get a little bit better at when it comes to playing the defensive end position, but pretty proud of him because he's a kid that you can coach really, really hard, and he's pretty receptive to that, and he's another kid that wants to be good, and he's just a junior also, so we got this year and another year with him.
You're listening to the Rock Hill Investments Coaches Corner with Howe head coach Jake Smith. We'll be right back. Tonight's Bulldogs football is brought to you by Noble Ridge, right here in Howe, just off Highway 75 at Summit Hill Parkway and walking distance to Summit Hill Elementary. Noble Ridge is our hometown's newest master plan community, featuring new homes from the nation's top builders, plus trails, parks, and family-friendly amenities. Developed by Rock Hill Capital Investments, a trusted North Texas developer with thriving communities in Salina, Sherman, and across the region. Noble Ridge is proud to call Howe home. Learn more at NobleRidgeTX.com. That's NobleRidgeTX.com. You're listening to the Rock Hill Investments Coaches Corner with Howe head coach Jake Smith. Coach, how similar are the two positions of parent and coach?
Well, right now, I think they're pretty identical. My oldest son, he's 10, and then my second son, he's 8. So I still have a few years left before I have the pleasure of coaching them to where I do have to separate myself from being dad or coach. But when it comes to holding kids accountable and disciplining them, I think they're identical, and that's one of the last slides in my parent meeting that I have before fall camp, that I remind parents that I spend more time with their kids than I do my own kids. So I'm going to treat their children, and I'm also going to coach them the way that I would my own 2 boys at home, and even my daughter too. And so you might not like the way how I speak to your child or how I hold them accountable, but don't be quick to forget, because that's the same way how I am when I'm dad when I get home. So that's one thing that I just like to remind those parents at that parent meeting. And so I truly believe that those 2 positions are pretty identical.
How much do you watch the other district teams right now and check on what they're doing?
I really don't pay much attention to them unless I'm watching the news and I see some highlights. I know some guys after the game, they get on that Dave Campbell's Texas football app and they come up with scores and try to develop their own opinions or ideas. But I've always been the type of guy that I'm only going to focus on where my feet are, and so I'm not a very smart guy to begin with, so I can't look too far forward. And plus, I also tell the kids it's one rep at a time, and I think that was one thing that helped us stay in the game instead of like the way how things might have gone in the past, or like especially like what I've been told is when you get down 2 possessions, like sometimes it's pretty easy for our kids to give up. But if I tell the kids don't ever look at the scoreboard, then I probably don't ever need to look at any of our district opponents, because if not, I might get a little nervous, and I don't want to do that. I just want to keep my focus on Monday, Tuesday, or whatever day it is, and especially our opponent.
Good evening and welcome to Massey Stadium. Monty Walker along with Justin White, Jake Roberts, Stephen Braswell, and Malin Walker. We got an early kick again this week, and somebody forgot to tell the broadcasters. And at least we get a little heads up so we could play our complete Rapid Electric tailgate party. And I hope you got to listen to most of it, and it is online. You can find it on the Studio 42 Facebook page, so you can listen to the whole thing. What we did find out is that we haven't, we'll explain that later. Pilot Point has gone through the tunnel, and we're waiting on Howe, who's wearing white tops and black pants, white helmets. We'll get to that in a moment as Pilot Point comes out in all orange tops and bottoms and white helmets. Let's go over the First Baptist Church starting lineup for the Howe Bulldogs on offense. Dylan Patterson up front, left tackle. The left guard is Gavin Snap. The center is Aiden Torres. The right guard, Will Ingram. And the right tackle, Jacob Griffo. The wide receiver, Malin will tell us who the starting wide receiver is in a moment on the left side. The quarterback is Deacon Bender, the sophomore, 23 out of 41, 2 interceptions, 221 yards through the air, and 2 touchdowns. The tight end is Van Derrick. The wide receiver on the right side is Rylan Strong, 11 catches for 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. Slot receiver, Ryken Cross. He's carried the ball 10 times for 41 yards, and he's also caught 7 passes for 22 yards. Knox Bounds is the tailback, 27 carries for 200 yards. He's caught 1 ball and lost 2 yards, but he has 3 touchdowns on the ground. He's averaging 7.4 yards per carry. Justin White, how about that 10-1 special Pilot Point Bearcats defense?
All right, let's start with the defensive end. Up front is Drivion James. He's a senior. Defensive tackle Eli Noblin, a junior, and Mateo Villanova, a senior. Josh Martinez is a defensive end. He's a junior. Outside linebackers, Jason Rangel, a junior. Caden David, you'll hear his name a lot. He's a senior, district defensive newcomer of the year in District 6, 3A Division 1 last year. Middle linebackers are Fernando Marmolejo and David Pickrell, senior and sophomore respectively. Hunter Newman is a cornerback. He's a senior. The other cornerback is Lane Eft. He's a senior. Another first-team All-District player from last year, Ashton Williamson. He is a strong safety. That's your defensive unit for Pilot Point.
The First Baptist Church of Howe starting lineup for the defense is up front Jacob Griffo, the junior. But we'll also see a lot of Brevin Mayo at defensive end. Dylan Patterson, the senior defensive tackle, Jameer Brown, the sophomore defensive tackle, and Alex Mejia, who has the nickname the Mad Honduran, will be at the left defensive end. The linebackers, Gage Carr, Chris Torres, and Charles Furr. And the secondary, Ryken Cross, Eli Stoner, Garrett Rogers, and Ryland Strong. How about your offense for Pilot Point?
At left tackle, the senior is Mimo Esparza. Left guard is Daniel Madrano. He's a junior. At center is Alex Luna. He's also a junior. Julio Almaguer is a senior at right guard. And then Eli Noblet, right tackle, is a junior.
I'm going to ask you to please stand now for our invocation.
I think we're ready for an invocation now.
Played by the PowerPoint Bearcat Marching Band. Let's pray. Dear Father, we thank you for today, Lord. We thank you for taking care of us this week. We thank you for allowing us to play a game of football tonight. Lord, I just pray for the safety of the Howe Bulldogs and the PowerPoint Bearcats tonight, dear Father. Lord, pray for the bands at halftime as they perform. They put in a lot of hours every week, and we are thankful for that. Just be with them as they play at halftime. Lord, we thank you for loving us and dying on the cross for us, and just keep us safe. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's dig in. Let's check. I think we're ready for the national anthem. And with that, Justin White, it is football time in Pilot Point, Texas. Let's finish First Baptist Church of Howe starting offense for Pilot Point.
All right, we went over the offensive line. Let me get to the skill positions. Ex-receiver, they won't be throwing the ball a lot, but ex-receiver is Luke Connor. He's a junior. At tight end is Cade Stuckley. He's a senior. The guy you'll be hearing a lot, Josh Chumley, at the slot back. He's a junior. Halfback is Caden Davis. You'll hear his name a lot as well. He's a senior. The other slot back is Hunter Newman. And the quarterback leading the way is a senior, Garrett Evans. They run the wing tee offense. Offense coordinator is Tyler Lawson.
Malin, come on out towards midfield. I know you'll be doing the coin toss here at any moment. While you're doing that, making your way out to the center court, I'll go over the officials tonight. The referee is Dan Mosley. The umpire, Mark Allison. The head linesman is Greg Small. The line judge, Nathan Springer. And the back judge is Christopher Coleman. The field judge, Kermit Lehman. And the side judge is Caleb Cole. And we'll check down with our Love Cottage sideline reporter if he's a long way over there, so let's hope we have some good connection tonight. Malin, tell us the keys to the victory. Actually, I think they're getting ready to come on out, so I think he's approaching the coin toss, guys, so he's just about to stick the mic in the face of referee Dan Mosley.
Captains for tonight's ball game.
And I guess he told Malin no. Hey, Malin, while you're out there, go ahead and give us the keys to the game.
Julio Almaguer, number 8.
Most important to understand about this game is that Pilot Point is going to be running a 10-1 special defense.
All right, it's starting to cut out a little bit. Just go stationary and see if it'll connect to us.
Let's see. I am.
Here we go.
We got the laugh.
Yeah, I'm just talking until I get it.
Let's
see. Okay, I'm getting a brief. There it goes again. Okay.
Stay still.
Try to get this as quick as I can. Pilot Point is going to be running a 10-1 special defense. Okay, that means they're going to be running the box. What that means is that the offensive line and Deacon Bender either has the offensive line has to hold their blocks and keep them. Deacon also has to get the quick because those defenders are coming. But you is focus on the pass game. What we're looking at is number 4, Braxton.
Stand still. I think we lost him.
We had him.
It's a long way over there. Malin, you may have to do sidelines from the Pilot Point side, unfortunately. So I think what he was talking about there was, I think you're going to see a lot of Braxton Buttery at the wide receiver position for Howe. He wears the number 14, and he was lining up with the first team on offense during the pregame snaps. So look out for Braxton Buttery. That'll give Eli Stoner some breathing time where he can focus on defense and maybe get his 4th interception. Howe's going to start by kicking off, and will be kicking to the north end zone. That is Howe moving right to left from our vantage point. Pilot Point will send back deep to Rakic, Dravian James, and Hunter Newman. Hunter Newman is a new player from last year. He was not on the roster a year ago in this game. Here's Fernando Sanchez's kick. It bounces at the 35-yard line. Going to be taken by an up man. He's got a seam on the right side, breaks out of a tackle, and finally horse-collared by Kendall O'Brien and thrown to the turf. But Pilot Point will start with pretty good field position, about 7 yards away from midfield.
I like the aggressive special teams trying to find a little open spot in the middle of that kickoff formation. But yeah, but Pilot Point with, as you said, good field position at their own 43.
Yeah, this is really the matchup. This Howe defensive line, we're going to be able to see if they're going to be able to keep up with just the powerhouse of an offensive Pilot Point.
They're going to come out that wing T formation.
Welcome in, Jake Roberts. So it'll be 1st and 10, Pilot Point to start this football game, moving left to right from their own 43-yard line. Quick to the line of scrimmage. Under center, and a toss to the first man through, and that is Josh Chumley, who comes in with 34 carries, 290 yards on the ground, and he is the workhorse for the Pilot Point Bearcats, and they're across midfield into Howe territory to start this football game. On play number 1, they quickly go back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and about 2. And again, on the right side, a 1st down run on the right side of the offensive line. Tackled by Eli Stoner, but on the carry was Caden David. And Pilot Point will now have it at the 43-yard line of Howe.
Well, those first 2 plays, you've seen the first 2 guys that will get the ball the most, from Josh Chumley and Caden David. The 1-2 punch they have.
1st and 10, left to right. Pilot Point on the move. Hunter Newman on the carry around the left edge. Breaks out of 2 tackles. Finally hit hard by 2 Bulldogs on the far sideline. That one was Garrett Rogers getting up. So a gain of about 6. We'll take it to the 37-yard line.
And the third play of the game, 3rd different ball carrier, and Newman on that slot back on that little end around.
Checking into the game for Pilot Point is a number that we do not have on the roster. Coming to the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 4. They break the huddle, run to the line of scrimmage. 2 backs in the backfield, handoff. And that is Chumley, who breaking out of tackles in the backfield. Ball's on the turf, and this will be a big loss unless Howe has the football, and Howe has the football. Charles Furr comes up off the turf. We'll give him the credit for Howe's first turnover of the night and the game's first turnover of the night.
I think Jacob Griffo was the one who knocked it out. Chumley hit a brick wall, tried to break it outside, and Griffo stayed right with him, and I think he was the one who got the strip, I think. But a swarming white jerseys that came around Chumley and able to strip that ball away. And another turnover for the Bulldogs. They seem like they've had a turnover each week of this season.
They want to get 3 per game, and they are racking up the turnovers. It's like the Mike Zagleski days. Here comes Howe on 1st and 10 from their own 45. I knew there was a little movement up front, but we'll check it and see. It's going to be false start against Howe. Not a good way to start if you're the Bulldogs.
Just trying to get off that line a little quicker. I think that was Gavin Snap, the left guard, who just a hair early. Start behind the sticks. That's not what you want to do.
Yeah, I was about to say, backing up 5 and starting out from behind the sticks. Again.
That was a theme last week, it seemed like.
It certainly was. And here is Rogers. There's that Bender on the keeper, and it is. Passes the 40 to the 42-yard line. So not much there. And Howe facing a second down and about 12 or 13 here with 10:05 on the clock. Ryland Strong split out wide right, and it is Buttery split out wide left. Bender wants to throw, plenty of time, steps up in the pocket, rolls right, throws on the run, and in and out of the hands of Ryland Strong. It would have been a first down at the Pilot Point 42-yard line, right at the edge of the sideline, but Strong couldn't bring it in, and now it'll be 3rd down and 13.
Good pocket awareness by Bender. Moved up in the pocket, rolled out to his right, threw it on the run, and threw a pretty good strike to Strong. He's got to catch that. It would have been first down over on that right sideline.
Bender in the gun. Bounds to his right. Here's Bender on the run, throws, and not even close to Strong. Now it's 4th down and punt time. Let's check down with our Love Cottage sideline reporter, Malin Walker, who's now on the Pilot Point side. Must feel a little weird over there, but let's check your mic and see if it works.
You're definitely right. It's a little bit too orange for my liking, but yeah, so far this offensive line is holding really well despite Pilot Point loading the box.
So 4th down and 13, and back to punt is Garrett Rogers, who will stand at his own 29-yard line. Line of scrimmage is the 42. It's a good snap and a pretty good punt. Wobbly kick, going to bounce at the 35-yard line, straight up, and now take a Howe roll inside the 30 to the 32-yard line. And that's where the Pilot Point Bearcats will start their next possession. A little bit deeper than before. This is the 90th anniversary of this series. The first game of Howe and Pilot Point dates back to 1935.
And that wasn't the game where they were sitting on top of cars.
That was 1946.
Okay, 11 years later.
And we'll get into that, where that game was on Thanksgiving Day, and it was for the district championship.
Wow.
And they said everybody from the county was at Bulldog Stadium. Packed on cars and standing room only and all that stuff. Here's a toss right side. Chumley again breaks through this time. He's got a seam trying to find the sidelines. Does. Looking to break Garrett Rogers' tackle. And now a late flag on Garrett Rogers as he slung him out of bounds at the Howe 49-yard line. You can't do that, young man. So Pilot Point's going to get an extra 15 yards. Personal foul against Howe.
And he did ride him out of bounds and slung him. It wasn't hard. It was just he was trying to kind of make sure he was out of bounds, and they forgot where he was.
I'm not even sure Rogers knows that there's a penalty. He never acknowledged anything.
Yeah.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against the Bulldogs.
And it probably helped with the Pilot Point coaches kind of looking at the officials like, come on now. That was a flag. It was late.
Toss, left side, David, and he's going to get about 6 yards to the 30 on first down, bringing up 2nd down and 4. 9:19 on the clock. We're just underway. No score from Massey Stadium in Pilot Point. But that 1946 game, can you imagine? It ended in a 6-6 tie for the district championship.
On Thanksgiving Day.
And no one knew what the tiebreaker was as the time of the article came out. 2nd down and 4, toss to Chumley right up the middle, and he's got the first down and more to the 20-yard line, and he just moves the pile. 10-yard gain for Chumley. So I don't know what they eventually ruled in that game as you know, because they all admitted that the UIL states that penetrations would be the tiebreaker, and Pilot Point won that tiebreaker 3-2. However, there's a 1946 bi-district championship trophy in Howe's trophy case. I formation. David with the carry up the middle over left guard, brought down after a minimal gain. I say that it's about 3 yards, and that's been minimal so far, as Pilot Point's been able to rack up yardage early on in this football game.
A lot of it's been on the legs of Chumley.
Well, and you know what they're going to do, too. They're just going to take the snap and then have that quick toss and then go straight up the middle. It's what they've done almost every play.
2nd down and 7, 8:06 on the clock. Toss right side. This is David again to the near corner. He is in untouched in the front corner of the south end zone. And Pilot Point takes the first lead tonight with 7:58 on the clock, 6-0 awaiting the PAT.
The toss back and then ran to the outside. Everybody got a hat on. Hat. And there's holes on that perimeter. These running backs are able to get through.
Swinging gate, and it looks like Pilot Point's going to go for 2 points here, and they do end up with it. In for the 2-point conversion is Cade Stuckley, and he stuck that one in for the 2-pointer. 8-0, Pilot Point in the lead, 7:58 on the clock. We'll be back right after this.
No one wants to talk about losing a loved one. The grief that is put on your family is troublesome. Scoggins Funeral Home strives to make that most difficult time the easiest. We want your loved one to be sent off in the best way possible, with your wishes at heart. Call us at 903-482-5225 or visit our website at scogginsfuneralhome.com. 903-482-5225. Our location on Van Alstyne Parkway makes everything close for your needs. 903-482-5225. Scoggins Funeral Home.
Who's your local plumber? Brother Plumber. It's good to know someone local and someone you can trust when your home or office drops the ball.
Main line break, 15 yards.
Brother Plumber is plumb professional and serves not only Howe, but also all of Grayson County. And you can save yourself 10% if you mention Go Bulldogs. Visit us online at brotherplumber.com. We'd love to help. Brother Plumber is one call away at 469-968-4487. Visit us online at brotherplumber.com. Remember, Go Bulldogs. Welcome back. We're at Massey Stadium. There's your Tech Wave kickoff. Going to go to Ryken Cross, who flips it over to Ryland Strong down the right sideline and didn't trick the Pilot Point Bearcats, as they'll be trapped inside the 20 at the 19-yard line. It's a good thought, but weren't able to escape the orange jerseys and orange pants and white helmets of Pilot Point. And Howe will start from their own 19 with 7:52 on the clock.
Bulldogs try to get the ground game going in the first quarter, or the first drive. Bender was able to get a couple of yards, but basically 3 and out. Pilot Point defense took a stand.
Bender in the gun. He'll hand off up the middle, knocks bounds, has his legs taken out from underneath him. Does a tough job of running there for about 5 yards near the 30-yard line. I'm sorry, near the 24-yard line.
Yeah, and Howe last possession, they just couldn't really get their plays to execute correctly. They had Ryland Strong open on almost the same route 2 times in a row and just weren't able to convert.
Bender on the quick handoff on the right side to Ryken Cross, and Ryken Cross is still unable to break loose, and you know at some point it's going to come, but so far that's a 5-yard loss back to the 20-yard line.
And most of his touches have been as ball carrier. He hasn't got a lot of catches this season.
He has not. 3rd down and 9 coming up for Howe, as the offense has been futile. Bender wants to throw, steps up in the pocket, spins out, trying to get a block, can't get away. Dylan Patterson was trying to help him out, but Bender could not escape the tackle, and it'll be punt time for Howe once again. 2 possessions and 2 punts for the Bulldogs.
Well, Jason Rangel, who just was able to overpower Dylan Patterson on the left side of the offensive line, as Bender was trying to move up in the pocket. Rangel able to stay with him and get the sack, another 3 and out for the Bulldogs.
6:18 and rolling here in the first quarter. Rogers back to punt this one away, and some movement. Rogers goes ahead and punts it, and it's going to finish rolling at about the Pilot Point 45-yard line. I have a feeling Howe's going to back up 5 here, which will put Rogers near the end zone to boot this one away. It's against Pilot Point.
Call it a delay of game. At least made the signal like a delay game.
That's new.
Now it's 4th down and 8.
Still not going to be enough for a first down, though.
No, they're going to move it up 5, so they still got a ways to go. And definitely backed up that far. You would never
think about faking it or going for it.
Never imagine that. So now Rogers will stand at his own 9-yard line. Steps up, punts it away. It's going to bounce at the 48. Whistles again.
No kick.
This one would have been a better kick. Would have rolled dead about the 34-yard line. This is going to be a false start.
Get back to 5
against Howe, so we'll do it again. And
we're back where we started.
I hope Rogers doesn't cramp up over there punting the ball 3 times in a row. This is the infamous stadium that led to my knee replacement.
Oh, wow.
At about the 20-yard line down there on the south side, on the near hash, on the Pilot Point hash. I'd like to find that left tackle from 1989. High snap, Rogers brings it down, end over end kick's gonna bounce and roll. It should roll for a while. Rolling past the 40, reaches the 35, 34, 33 and a half. So all in all, I think it's the best situation for Howe anyway.
Pretty decent kick, pretty decent roll. You know, you talk about Malin over there on the sidelines. The last time we were here was 2017 when I was doing sidelines, and I believe I had to be on the Pilot Point sideline as well. And I remember everybody looking at me kind of weird.
Well, it's because you dressed like the Unabomber.
Yeah, Unabomber, with my backpack on, dressed in black on the orange side. So this side does get better reception.
That's the Clarissa Ferrer. She came up to me. Who is that guy down there? Is he with you? Oh, the Unabomber? Yeah, he's with me. Yeah, that.
Well, she pulls me aside. She goes, "Come here." She goes, "Who are you?" I always make the joke. I was like, I'm with Monty Walker. Okay, that doesn't make me feel any better. Who are you? Kidding.
1st and 10, Pilot Point. Toss to David again. He's hit hard at the line of scrimmage, and that's really your first, other than the fumble, that's the first big play by the defense to stand up the running backs. And they do shuffle around the running backs. Hey, it'll be 2nd down and 9.
Hey, Monty, that was Pickerel.
I'm sorry, hang on. I'm going to have to turn you down a little bit. What was that?
That was Pickerel.
Pickerel. Okay. They have so many backs. 2nd down and 8. Toss, right side. That is Chumley, I believe, to the 40-yard line.
On the tackle, number 8, Eli Stoner, and number 50, Jameer Brown.
They're racking up yards.
They certainly are.
And it's okay, you know, it's a wing tee offense, kind of similar to a slot tee, as far as a lot of players bunched in around the line of scrimmage.
And they will go double tight look as well. Stuckley and Reed in at times with a double tight look, almost like an old Dennison look. Handoff, right side. And that is David on the carry on the 1st down run into Howe territory at the 49-yard line. Brought down by Garrett Rogers, the safety. And you don't want your safety making every tackle because that's not a good sign.
Yeah, and it seemed like I've seen that a couple times where guys in the secondary have had to come up and stick their nose there to make tackles. With an offense like this, you want to depend more on your back, your linebackers, and your defensive line, defensive ends. Clog that middle.
Pilot Point runs to the line of scrimmage. Evans, the quarterback, looks like he's going to want to throw it. Rolls out left, throws over the middle, into the middle of no man's land, except 3 white jerseys, and right between them, it falls incomplete. And Pilot Point will face a 2nd down and 10. Trying to catch Howe napping there.
Yeah, they don't throw the ball hardly at all, but just to keep the Howe defense honest.
And when you say hardly at all, Garrett Evans is 2 for 11 on the season, now 2 for 12. Completed 2 passes.
Through 4 games. This is the 4th game.
I mean, that's Dale West type stats. That's just a tad bit more than Dale West. 2nd down and 10. Evans toss right side Chumley. Cuts it up the middle. Going to be finally brought down. He was hit initially up front by Jacob Griffo, and he took Griffo and Eli Stoner for a little bit of a ride to the 44-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 5, a short 5, maybe even closer to 4.
Well, that toss back, he had a full head of steam as he went to the line. Got hit the ball was at the 50 originally, hit at the 48, and he pushed his way up to the 44. So 4 yards after his initial hit.
Howe has a new defensive tackle in. And we'll have to check and see who that is. Evans handoff and bam! Hit right at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards. Jameer Brown and Jacob Griffo are there, along with Eli Stoner, and it's going to be 4th down. And really, for the first time, other than the fumble, Howe turns away Pilot Point. It appears, but it is still 4th and 5, and they're on the Howe side, so they could go for it here.
Well, we talk about Bells, a lot like Bells. They're willing to go for it on 4th down if they're definitely on the Bulldog side of the field and within a reasonable distance, which 4th and 5 is.
Malin, can you tell who is in at defensive tackle?
That'd be Sean Bradley.
Number 70.
Sean Stanley.
Sean Stanley.
They have taken a timeout. We'll take one too. 2:39 on the clock, 8-0. Pilot Point in the lead. We'll be back right after this.
8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
At Grayson Cullen Electric Cooperative, GCEC, we have been around for over 80 years and are governed by 7 principles: open and voluntary membership, democratic member control, members' economic participation, autonomy and independence, education, training, and information, cooperation among cooperatives, and concern for community. One of our communities is Howe, Texas, and GCEC is proud to support the Howe Bulldogs.
This is Bulldogs head coach Jake Smith, and it didn't take me long to get to know where Sonic of Howe is. After practice or games, I like to head down to 105 North Collins Freeway, grab a burger, tots, and a shake. As a matter of fact, I like to say, it's Sonic time in Texas.
Yeah, Coach, that's kind of my thing.
Oh, okay. How about Sonic really brings the hammer down?
Coach, that's kind of my thing.
With Sonic, I'm highly motivated, truly dedicated.
Yeah, Coach, that's another one of my lines.
How about this? It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Yeah, I like that.
Quickly, Malin, what are we going to see here from Pilot Point on 4th and 5?
Well, expecting a timeout. Well, having a timeout, I would expect some trickery around here. They're not showing a punt formation, so it looks like they're just going to run it up the middle. They always do.
Here's a toss, and there's your trickery. Left-handed running back and a halfback pass, and it is caught at the 10-yard line by Hunter Newman. You nailed it, Malin. The trickery, it came out of the trick bag. And Pilot Point picks up the 1st down at the 10-yard line.
They had 2 receivers back there, Hunter Newman and Michael Marsh, and I'm not sure which one it was intended for. And they're lucky they didn't become an incompletion by both of them trying to go for the ball.
I thought it might have been picked off.
I thought so too. There was a Bulldog back there too.
There were 2 Bulldogs in the area, but obviously neither one of those came down with it. And a nice catch. Pilot Point, Evans toss, right side, that's Chumley to the 5, runs over. Right and cross. Strolls into the end zone onto the C in Bearcats. And Pilot Point once again on the board, 14-0, and lining up in the swinging gate. So Chumley scores from 10.
Got to be frustrating for the Bulldogs. You got to be 4th down. They get you on a trick play, and the next play they run a inside handoff, just bulldog over across.
Anthony Torres on for the PAT. The holder is David, and the kick is up, and the kick is good. 15-0. Pilot Point in the lead. 1:59 left to go in the first. We'll be back after this.
What's up, guys? It's Ridley Carter. I'm a senior cross country and long distance track runner.
This is Riley McCollum, senior basketball player and leading strikeout softball pitcher.
I'm Dylan Patterson, graduating football player and powerlifter.
I'm Ayla Jones, class of 2026 volleyball player.
We would like to thank the Howe Athletic Booster Club for the support of Howe student athletes and encourage anyone interested in helping to join.
Go
Dogs!
If your home or business could talk, what would it say? It may say it would like some privacy or security. Enjoy the beauty and durability of quality fencing from MTE Fence. MTE Fence is a local company specializing in commercial and residential fencing. MTE Fence ranges from wood, aluminum, and chain link fencing. MTE Fence services all of Grayson County and surrounding areas. Go to mtefence.com or call 903-686-9039 for an estimate. MTE Fence has a passion for connection. We are your connection for quality.
Let me give you your Kingdom Inflatables scoring drive recap. 8 plays for Pilot Point, went 67 yards. It was a big 35-yard trick play that led to the 10-yard touchdown by Chumley. Here's your Tech Wave kickoff. Same flip back to Ryland Strong, trying to find the right side. This time he gets a couple of more yards out to maybe the 20 or the 21. We'll see where they mark it. Your previous scoring drive recap for Kingdom Inflatables was 5 plays, 68 yards. The first one for Pilot Point. And it was a 17-yard touchdown by Cade David. And a 2-point conversion gave them an 8-0 lead. It's 15-0 now after the 10-yard Chumley run. And Howe will start from their own 20-yard line after the Tech Wave kickoff.
Has Howe only ran 6 plays?
I believe that's correct.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 if you include 2 punts. Handoff up the middle, knocks bounds, breaks free, right side, down the sidelines. They're trying to strip the ball, but he makes his way out past the 40. A good 21-yard run for Knox Bounds.
And that was the reason why I asked him how many plays. They need just to get a first down right now. Don't worry about a score. Just get a first down.
Malin, you were talking on the way over here about establishing the run. How important is that early in this football game?
Establishing the run is essential in a game like this. You have to show them that you are the better football team in this scenario. You cannot let them abuse you in the line. You have to game.
Especially against that 10-1 special defense where they stack so many men in the box. You got to be able to make an exclamation. And there's Garrett Rogers on the carry, trying to find the left edge. Can't do it. He's going to lose 2 yards back to the 39-yard line.
Bearcats coming with that defense. Bulldogs trying to get wide. And there's not a lot of blocking up front. They're able to expose the gaps and get bounds behind the line of scrimmage.
Buttery split out wide to the left. Strong wide right. Garrett Rogers in the backfield. Deacon Bender's going to keep it over right guard, trying to find a little room to run. He does for about 3 before he's pushed back. The side judge initially said he got to the 44-yard line. Now he'll move over a yard to the 43, and they'll spot the ball right there. Why do you need a side judge if you're just going to go by whatever the umpire says? So it's 3rd down and 8 for Howe. Moving right to left from our vantage point. White jerseys, black bottoms, and white helmets.
I think they're going to wait for this to.
Yeah, that's going to be the final play of your first quarter. They'll flip sides here in just a moment. 15-0, Pilot Point in the lead here in Massey Stadium in Pilot Point. We'll take a timeout. We'll be right back for the second quarter.
This is more than a bundle. This is way more than a combo deal. It's your sanctuary, your home field. It's where everything happens. This is your home, your car, your memories. And you want to be sure they're protected with home and auto insurance. As your State Farm agent, I get it. That's why I'm here to help life go right. My name is Ed Meacham, and I'm your Howe State Farm agent. Give me a call at 903-892-3923 or on the web at MrEdInsurance.com.
From tailgate to touchdown, South State is here to ensure your financial game plan leads you to victory. With cutting-edge digital tools like contactless payment, digital wallet, and more, your financial plays become seamless and convenient. As your trusted banking partner, South State is committed to supporting you every step of the way, providing expert guidance and dedicated assistance on your financial journey. This is Banking Forward, South State Bank, member FDIC.
When you're thinking about prom and And homecoming pictures, don't forget about Michelle Carney Photography, as she's always at, seems like, every football game and has been for about 18 years, we believe. So don't forget about Michelle. You can't miss her. She's only 7'7". 3rd down and 8 for Howe. They switch sides, balls on the turf, and Pilot Point has recovered. And they will have good field position here at the Howe 40-yard line. It was just a bad exchange between Deacon Bender and Garrett Rogers, as simple as that.
They're lined up in I formation. That was going to be a play action. As he tried to fake the handoff, the ball got knocked out of his hands, maybe by his own player. And I thought it was interesting as they come back for the timeout, Coach Smith was the last coach. He was all the way out to the field, to where the ball is, talking to his offense. Trying to be fiery and encouraging. As he goes back to the sideline, they fumble the ball on this 3rd down.
So each team now has a turnover in this game. Howe was not able to capitalize on it. Let's see what Pilot Point does here from the Howe 41-yard line. Not much of a breeze here tonight. I know it's rather stiffy up here in the booth. There's no air up here. I'm thinking about raising this window. At least we can raise the window. 1st down and 10. Right to left goes Pilot Point. Here's the trap play on the right side. That's Chumley, again, breaking tackles. 10-yard run for Chumley to the 31-yard line. And it's, at this point, Pilot Point's offense, it's like a warm knife through butter.
It's clicking on all cylinders. They got multiple different running backs to get in. Some have been tosses. That was the inside trap. They're going to hit you with the trick play. So they've got a few different plays that come at you. You kind of know what's coming. You just got to figure out who's got it.
Riley Hayes checks into the game for Pilot Point. I formation. Evans turns and tosses up the middle. I believe that is David on the carry. I think. He stopped at the line of scrimmage. If they give him forward progress, and they do at the 31-yard line.
That's Ashton Williamson, actually, number 2, who's the running back.
They've got so many weapons.
I believe that's the 4th. No, I think that's the 5th.
Braswell can tell us.
The 5th back to get carries.
2nd down and 10 for the Bearcats.
2nd down and 10. He'll get with us here in a minute. Split back. Evans under center, toss near side. Looking for the corner, breaks out of a tackle. Onto the 10, onto the 15, onto the 5, onto the end zone. And Pilot Point just like that on the board again, 21-0. And that time it was Dravion James on the carry.
Eli Stoner had a shot at him, and James able to break the tackle. It wasn't a great tackle by Stoner, I'll be honest.
31-yard run. Your Kingdom Inflatables scoring drive recap, just 3 plays, 41 yards, and they capitalize on the Howe fumble. As it stands right now, it's 21-0, but we're awaiting the Anthony Torres PAT. It's on the tee. The kick is up, and the kick is very high and very good. 22-0, the Pilot Point Bearcats lead Howe with 10:47 remaining in quarter number 2. We'll be right back.
Buying and or selling your next home or property should be an enjoyable experience. At Texoma Land and Home Team, our commitment to the personal relationship of each transaction ensures communication you expect, while assuring that we'll be here the next time you need us. We're not a big box real estate company by design. This freedom allows us to be fully at your service. Texoma Land and Home Team, Renee Nichols Broker, 903-818-1645. Texoma Land and Home Team, for all your real estate needs, 903-818-1645.
Here's some things to never mess with if you're not a trained professional. Caging a bulldog. Removing copperheads. And electricity. Don't get shocked. Call Rapid Electric. Rapid Electric is here for all your electrical needs. Just like you wouldn't try to become a pro boxer or president.
Give me a break.
You need a pro to keep your electricity humming. Don't get shocked. Rapid Electric serves the Grayson County area. Call them at 903-421-8100. The ball blows off the tee or falls off the tee because there's no wind whatsoever here at Massey Stadium. 22-0. Pilot Point in the lead. Monty Walker and Justin White, Jake Roberts, Malin Walker, and Stephen Braswell. Thanks for joining us on this Friday night. Ryken Cross will take the Tech Wave kickoff from his own 8-yard line. He's going to keep it and go a long way around to the other far sideline and finally tackled at the 15. There's a flag laying down at the 18-yard line. And we'll see if that's on the return team of Howe or on the orange guys of Pilot Point. It's going to go against Howe.
I was hoping at some point Cross would keep that, fake the handoff, fake the exchange, and try to run around the end, but call back for a holding.
Congratulations. Congratulations, SNS Rams. You just got another hour or so in the film room to study the special teams. So the ball will be back to the 10-yard line. And Howe will start there on their fourth drive of the football game.
The 10-yard line.
So far have run 10 official plays to this point. Bender at his 5-yard line. He'll hand off to Knox Bounds, who will get across the 10 to the 12, so a 2-yard gain there.
Flag came out for that side judge.
Interesting to note, Mr. Stanley going double duty here early in the game. We'll have to keep our eyes on that situation, as normally that is Gavin Snap in at left guard, or right guard rather. They'll move the ball to the 15-yard line, and Howe will have first down and 5 after the penalty on Pilot Point.
I didn't see what the penalty was either.
Handoff, Bounds, the ball's on the turf, and Pilot Point has it again. This time even worse. At the 13-yard line.
Jeez.
Whoa.
The second exchange, and this time it was, Bender was in shotgun, trying to hand it off to Bounds. Going around that right side was what the play was designed for. And it was just not a clean exchange.
That time it was Fernando Marmoleo on the recovery for Pilot Point.
It may have been it actually may have been a read option. And then just at the mesh point, one thought the other had it, and ball ends up on the turf. Second turnover of the night?
Third? No, second.
Braswell just confirmed. Pilot Point has had 6 different ball carriers tonight.
That's not easy on a play-by-play guy, especially when their jerseys are orange and their numbers are black. There is an outline of white, but it's still not easy to see for this old man. Evans wants to throw all alone in the end zone, and now he has some defenders there. I believe that is Fernando Sanchez in coverage and makes an outstanding play as the ball falls incomplete about halfway deep in the end zone and on the far sideline.
Sanchez moved from second base to cornerback.
Yeah.
With pretty good defensive position to be able to knock that ball away.
You know, Coach Smith was saying a couple of weeks ago that he'd really like Fernando Sanchez to take that next step, that he needs to be on the field in a cornerback role to take Ryken Cross off the field. Here's a toss right side, and once again churning through, cannot be stopped, is Dravion James, and he's in for the score.
So I've got a flag. I think it's going to be holding against Pilot Point.
So you'll bring that one back.
Holding against the Bearcats.
Spot foul, and I didn't see where the flag was laying. Was that the line of scrimmage, I presume?
Close. It actually may have come from the side judge there.
So they'll move it back to the 23-yard line.
But that's high praise for Fernando Sanchez for them to, because usually in the past, Howe kickers have just been kickers and or punters, never moved to defensive back.
And he's only a sophomore.
Really? Okay, yeah.
He's a multi-kicker. Second down and 20. Under center is Evans. Toss near side. A wide open lane. And that's Dravion James again. And they'll spot him down at the 13. So a gain of 10. Obviously not enough for a first, but back to the original line of scrimmage. And it'll be third down and 10. They can pick up a first at the 3.
Well, if you're the Bulldog defense, you got to take advantage of that penalty by Pilot Point, the first one of the game, I believe. But you're going to put them behind the sticks, put them in second long, third and long situations, because they're not a passing team. But when you're hitting 7, 8, 9 yards a clip, that helps your offense.
We need to check on the status of Dylan Patterson, because he is not in the game here, and that's a cog on that defense. Evans wants to throw again, rolls out right, throws on the run, and it is almost picked off. It falls incomplete, and I believe that may be Kendall O'Brien out there.
And see, third and 10, you put them in pass situations, and for the first time we saw 2 receivers out to the side. Ball was intended for James, got knocked away. But you want to put them in passing situations, something that they're not used to.
Anthony Torres comes on to attempt a 30-yard field goal. Caden David on for to hold. The kick from the middle of the field is up high and true. So add 3 to the already lead of Pilot Point, makes it 25-0 with 9:19 left to go before the half. We'll be right back.
All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights is proud to sponsor the Pride of Howe High School's Bandsman of the Week. Your hometown Bulldog alumni-owned and operated business is here for all your seamless gutter and outdoor Christmas lights needs. Give them a call at 903-819-9183 and let them make your house shine really bright this Christmas. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights. Give them a call at 903-819-9183. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights.
It's that time of year again where our beloved radio guy won't shut his trap about how hot it is up here in the press box. Thankfully, the good people at Baker Air Conditioning and Heating cool this thing down in no time.
Roger, we're dying over here.
Speaking of hot air, there he is. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating has been serving the community of Howe for nearly 60 years. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating is located on Highway 5, and you can call them at 903-532-6255.
Roger! Where's Baker Heating and Air Conditioning over here? Because it's hot in this press box. I know they could get it cooled off in a hurry. Here's your Tech Wave kickoff. Going to go to Riken Cross at his 11-yard line. He calls for a fair catch. Your Kingdom Inflatable scoring drive recap: 4 plays, 0 yards. As Anthony Torres bangs it through for a 30-yard field goal to up the score 25-0. Pilot Point over Howe with 9:19 left to go in the second, and the offensive unit will come out and try to not fumble. Malin Walker, let's check down with our Love Cottage sideline reporter.
Well, the key to this game, as Coach said in his coach's show, is the physicality of the football team. So far today, he's been exactly right. The more physical team is winning.
Yeah,
what the defense needs to do and what the offense needs to do now is just beat Pilot Point at their own game.
Yeah, and get physical at the line of scrimmage, because that's not where Howe has had any success so far tonight. Here's a trap play, and that's Knox bounds. He's got a lot of room. 40, cuts it inside, crosses midfield, crosses the 40 down to the 37-yard line. They were trying to strip the ball, and Knox held on to it with both arms, and it, for the first time tonight, something to brag about for Howe on offense.
Man, Bounds had a big hole in that left side. We got right behind it. I think it may have been Ingram. I'm not sure one of the guards. Maybe Griffo leading the way. And there's a big hole and a lot of speed by Bounds to get into Pilot Point territory.
Trying to draw. They may have drawn Pilot Point off sides. Contact was made on Stanley as he fell backwards onto his back, and that will be the call. And now Howe will have a 1st and 5 at the 32.
I don't know if that was Stanley or Ingram. Either way, he was a big guy that barely got touched and then did a good job of falling back to show that he got contact at the line of scrimmage.
A pass to the right side, trying to haul it in as Ryland Strong, as Bender just threw it a little bit far to the right. Even if Strong would have been able to bring that in, I don't think he'd have been able to get a foot down in bounds, and it falls incomplete. 2nd down and 5 coming up. By the way, moments ago, that was a 52-yard run by Knox Bounds.
Nice. He's had a couple of big runs. He's been really the only bright spot on this Howe team.
Really has. Give it to Knox. 2nd down and 5. Bender in the gun. Knox to his left. He'll follow him. Does Bender. Close to a 1st down at the 27-yard line. It's going to be very close. If it were 1988, they'd pull the chains, but actually they say it's almost a full yard short.
Man, he got a bad spot there. I thought he was a little bit closer to that. He's almost a full yard.
He got a left-footed spot.
Tush push.
3rd and 1. Bender's going to try to sneak it over and does. Which recalls the 1988 matchup of this football game. Howe hosted Pilot Point for homecoming, of all things. Hadn't beaten Pilot Point since 1975, but pronounced homecoming will be Pilot Point. And Howe trailed that game 14-0, best I recall, with about a minute left. Jamie Engel hit David Canaday, who took it to the 1-yard line in the pouring rain. Adam Coffey took it over. And here is Bender in trouble, throws it, and that could be grounding. He was in the pocket. Let's see what, no flag. So it'll simply be an incomplete pass, and 2nd and 10 coming up. But after the game, Jeff Simmons scored, actually Adam Coffey scored on the next play to give them the 17-10 or 17-14 win. Improbable win at home, as they were about 18-point underdogs.
What did you say in the flex capacity?
That was in 1988, sorry.
The biggest win of one of the best games?
That might have been 1998. Here's a toss to Knox Bounds up the middle, breaking tackles to the 20-yard line. 7-yard run for Knox Bounds. 1998, these two teams met in Denton for a first-round matchup.
Maybe that was the one, yeah.
And Pilot Point had beaten Howe 43-0 earlier in the season, about week 3. So no one gave Howe a chance to win that game in the bi-district championship, for, rightly so. Mm-hmm. But Howe just drove them out of the stadium that night. It's going to be a penalty. I think it's going to be against Pilot Point.
You got offsides. I think they may have drawn them offsides again.
And if they did, that's an automatic 1st down. And I believe that is the call. So Howe will have it 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line. A timeout's been called by Pilot Point. We'll take one, too. We'll be back in just a moment.
Anchors with a Z Boat and RV Storage is located 1 mile off of U.S. Highway 75 in Howe, Texas. Anchors Boat and RV Storage is proud to bring personal, small-town customer service to the growing area of North Texas. With both open and covered parking available, locally owned and operated, members of the Howe Area Chamber of Commerce and the Texas Self-Storage Association. Anchors Boat and RV Storage has 20 amp power available and is manager occupied at 311 Old Highway 6 in Howe. Visit anchorsboatrvstorage.com or call 903-444-2500.
No one wants to talk about losing a loved one. The grief that is put on your family is troublesome. Scoggins Funeral Home strives to make that most difficult time the easiest. We want your loved one to be sent off in the best way possible, with your wishes at heart. Call us at 903-482-5225 or visit our website at scogginsfuneralhome.com. 903-482-5225. Our location on Van Alstyne Parkway makes everything close for your needs. 903-482-5225. Scoggins Funeral Home.
Howe will have it 1st and 10 from the Pilot Point 16-yard line. 7:09 left to go in the second, trailing Pilot Point 25-0. I formation, Bender goes under center. Knox Bounds, dots the I, he gets the toss, the ball's on the ground. A scramble for it. Pilot Point has it. 3rd fumble in as many drives for Howe. It was a toss to Bounds, who never got a good grip on it.
I kind of thought it was an I formation, just going to be just a straight handoff right up the middle. But instead, yeah, got the snap and then tossed it back, which is probably the design, but just couldn't handle it cleanly. And I don't understand why you couldn't just do a regular handoff.
It almost seems like they're trying to copy the scheme of Pilot Point, because Pilot Point almost every play will do that exact thing, but they're really good at it because that's all they do. And so I believe that's 3 fumbles on that toss back 3 different times.
Mm-hmm. The first time, one of the other times, I think it looked like maybe like a play action. It never materialized.
If there's any silver lining to this thing, Pilot Point's backed up at their own 15-yard line, but Howe really needed to get points right there. Coming near side, not even breaking tackles, wide open. I don't even think he's touched. That's Hunter Newman on his way for an 85-yard touchdown. Ends up right down the middle of the field, zigzagging. And one play, 85 yards goes Hunter Newman. And Pilot Point ups the ante 31-0, awaiting a PAT.
I thought as soon as you said they were deep in their own territory at their own 15, here comes a end around from Newman, the slot back, and got around that corner, and there was very few white jerseys back there and able to zigzag, as you said, his way to the end zone.
Anthony Torres will come on for the PAT.
On for the kick, Anthony Torres.
And Caden David will do the holding. Right-footed kicker, tall kicker, and a tall kick through the uprights. 32-0. Pilot Point in the lead. 6:48 left to go before the half. We'll be right back.
Who's your local plumber? Brother Plumber. It's good to know someone local and someone you can trust when your home or office drops the ball.
Mainline break, 15 yards.
Brother Plumber is plumb professional and serves not only Howe, but also all of Grayson County. And you can save yourself 10% if you mention Go Bulldogs. Visit us online at brotherplumber.com. We'd love to help. Brother Plumber is one call away at 469-968-4487. Visit us online at brotherplumber.com. Remember, Go Bulldogs.
At Grayson Cullen Electric Cooperative, GCEC, we have been around for over 80 years and are governed by 7 principles: open and voluntary membership, democratic member control, members' economic participation, autonomy and independence, education, training, and information, cooperation among cooperatives, and concern for community. One of our communities is Howe, Texas, and GCEC is proud to support the Howe Bulldogs.
6:48 on the clock here in quarter number 2, 32-0. Pilot Point in the lead. Your Kingdom Inflatable scoring drive recap. One play, 85-yard run by Hunter Newman. And the PAT by Anthony Torres makes it 32-0. The Bearcats in the lead, Justin White.
Yeah, I saw during the break, Coach Smith brought the whole team right now is gathered about the 50-yard line on the far side. And they may have called a timeout. Howe may have called a timeout to give Coach Smith more time to talk to his team.
Yeah, and I think I heard that from the PA announcer.
Because Pilot Point came out to do the kickoff and they came back to their sideline. So Coach Smith is trying to encourage the troops to kind of gather everybody around to not quit.
Well, and he had a huddle with almost every player.
Well, with this team and this program, there's a psychological evaluation going on week by week. Here's the Tech Wave kickoff is going to go to Ryken Cross, who makes the fair catch at the 9-yard line.
And I think what's disappointing about this game is you kind of felt like they were improving every game. Even last week when they lost to Bowie, you thought they were getting a little bit, you saw flashes of brilliance, saw get a little bit better. And tonight it feels like they've taken 2 or 3 steps back.
5 or 6 or 7.
Man.
3 fumbles in their last 3 possessions. That stings.
Well, and that last one was definitely just like the icing on the cake. You finally get a drive going, and then you fumble inside the red zone. And then they immediately score right after that on an 85-yard touchdown.
So the fair catch in UIL rules will give them the 25-yard line.
Which is is good because they were trying to return the kick, and
they were getting to the 19 and 20. And so here we go with I-4 back to the pistol look. Cross goes in motion. Bender's going to keep it up the middle, and he has a seat very quickly at the line of scrimmage. Second down and 10 coming up.
Fakes it to Cross on the jet sweep, and then try to go up the middle. He doesn't have much room to run tonight either. Bounds is the only one who's been really successful. Bounds has been the offense tonight.
Yeah, he certainly has. Clock continues to wind at 6:20.
I think right now Howe is just trying to get into the locker room and try to keep this offensive Pilot Point on the sideline.
We will save our story time for later in the game with Howe and Pilot Point history. Here's a handoff to Bounds, breaks through again, runs into his own player at the 38-yard line, and I think whoever he ran into is still down on the ground for just a moment, and I think that's Braxton Buttery. Getting up kind of slow now, makes his way off to the sideline. Big run up to the 39-yard line.
I guess if there's one good thing to look at from this first half, Knox Bounds has had some big runs and he's run some people over.
Except for the fumble bug.
Yeah.
And that is a 14-yard run for Bounds, and he has had success running the football, that's for sure. 1st and 10, left to right goes Howe. Pistol look. Bender in the gun. Man in motion is Cross. He gets the hand coming near side. Trapped in jail. 3 orange jerseys right there. Again, a loss behind the line of scrimmage for Reich and Cross on that reverse. Or they may give him the line of scrimmage, which is the 38. So no, well, maybe lost a yard. Lost a yard.
That aggressive attacking defense of those orange jerseys getting off their blocks, hitting the gaps, and able to bring down Cross. And you got to be pretty fast, pretty aggressive to bring down a guy like Cross as fast as he is. He's not even able to get upfield.
4:50 and rolling here in quarter number 2, and Howe's into clock burning mode, I believe. Snap back, Bender wants to throw. Deep ball, left side, has his man, and it falls incomplete. It was intended for Kendall O'Brien, who had some room for a moment to bring that in, but the defense just quickly got to that football.
Yeah, I was trying to see who that was in coverage. I believe that may have been Chumley over there in coverage. Strong had maybe a step on him. Tried to do a back shoulder fade, just not able to bring it in.
Well, and that was an accurate ball by Bender as well.
It
was just great defense to cause the breakup.
3rd down and 10. Handoff to Bounds. Left side. Follows Gage. Carr, look out. Here goes Bounds. 40, 30, 20, 10. Kiss him goodbye. Howe is on the board. Hallelujah. 32-6.
Hallelujah. Where's the Tylenol? That's what I thought you were going to say. Bounds with a handoff on the left side of the line. He's been making a living over there, and a big hole opened up and knocks Bounds, the only bright spot on offense or defense, off to the races with a 47-yard touchdown run. 49.
Second baseman Fernando Sanchez on for the PAT. Reich and Cross to hold. Snap is high. Cross brings it down, but not in time. He's in jail. Cross can't get away. And it will remain 32-6, our score, with 4:27 remaining in quarter number 2. We'll be right back.
This is Bulldogs head coach Jake Smith, and it didn't take me long to get to know where Sonic of Howe is. After practice or games, I like to head down to 105 North Collins Freeway, grab a burger, tots, and a shake. As a matter of fact, I like to say, it's Sonic time in Texas.
Yeah, Coach, that's kind of my thing.
Oh, okay. How about Sonic really brings the hammer down?
Coach, that's kind of my thing.
With Sonic, I'm highly motivated, truly dedicated.
Yeah, Coach, that's another one of my lines.
How about this? It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Yeah, I like that.
What's up, guys? It's Ridley Carter. I'm a senior cross country and long distance track runner.
This is Riley McCollum, senior basketball player and leading strikeout softball pitcher.
I'm Dylan Patterson, graduating football player and powerlifter.
I'm Ayla Jones, class of 2026 volleyball player.
We would like to thank the Howe Athletic Booster Club for the support of Howe student athletes and encourage anyone interested in helping to join. Go Dogs!
Your Kingdom Inflatable scoring drive recap for Howe. 5 plays, 75 yards, capped off by a 62-yard run by Knox Bounds. And that brings our score 32-6, Pilot Point in the lead, 4:27 left to go before the half. Your Tech Wave kickoff is a high pooch kick, going to go very short. Bounces off a player of Pilot Point. Howe had a chance to get on it, but then at the last moment, it was David Pickrell who found it bouncing around his feet, and he just fell on it.
Man, almost had another chance at a fumble recovery. I like how they're kind of hitting these pooch kicks, these little pop flies, and making the
second basemen are always good with the pop flies.
Making the kickoff teams putting some pressure on them as they field them. And almost got another turnover out of that.
Well, and they had a good chance. I mean, Howe had the football for a moment, but it just had a little bit too much oomph on it, and then Pilot Point was able to luckily recover that one.
So Pilot Point will start from their own 38-yard line. Double tight set. Man goes in motion, and a handoff from left to right of the offensive line will gain about 5 yards on first down. It'll be 2nd down and 5 as they get up to the 43-yard line.
I think with this offense, it's kind of like one of those death by 1,000 cuts. I mean, they're just going to kind of chip away at you. Sometimes they'll have a long run, but it may be always 4-down territory for them because they get so close.
2nd down and 5. Shotgun formation for Evans. Wants to roll out near side, wants to throw. Got his man wide open, makes the catch, makes a move at the 40. Keeps his feet somehow at the 25-yard line. Finally, everyone rallies around and finally brings him down at the 22-yard line. On the reception was Lane Eft, the senior, and some fancy and nifty moving by Eft. And a big gainer there. Go ahead, Justin.
That's the first time we've seen the shotgun formation rolling out to his left, and they don't have big receivers, but looks like we got a timeout called by Pilot Point.
We'll take 1, 2, 3:24 left to go in the second quarter. 32-6, Pilot Point in the lead.
If your home or business could talk, what would it say? It may say it would like some privacy or security. Enjoy the beauty and durability of quality fencing from MTE Fence. MTE Fence is a local company specializing in commercial and residential fencing. MTE Fence ranges from wood, aluminum, and chain link fencing. MTE Fence services all of Grayson County and surrounding areas. Go to mtefence.com or call 903-686-9039 for an estimate. MTE Fence has a passion for connection. We are your connection for quality.
This is more than a bundle. This is way more than a combo deal. It's your sanctuary, your home field. It's where everything happens. This is your home, your car, your memories. And you want to be sure they're protected with home and auto insurance. As your State Farm agent, I get it. That's why I'm here to help life go right. My name is Ed Meacham, and I'm your Howe State Farm agent. Give me a call at 903-892-3923 or on the web at MrRedInsurance.com.
32-6, Pilot Point in the lead over Howe, and they have the football knocking at the door at the Bulldog 26-yard line. 1st down and 10, toss right side, and that is Chumley trying to find the edge. Going to be clipped down after about a 7-yard gain to the 15-yard line.
And I tell you what, as a defense, especially a defensive back, you got to be able to stick your nose in there and make a tackle, an open field tackle. Especially when they're getting around the edge, you get to the 2nd, 3rd level. You can't be afraid of contact if you're a defensive player on Howe's side.
Pilot Point jogs to the line of scrimmage on 2nd down and 3. Shotgun again for Evans. Looks right, throws right, batted down by the big defensive end. And that is the Mad Honduran. Sounds like a wrestler. Brought down by the Mad Honduran.
Now coming to the ring.
Don't mess with me, Mad Honduran.
Be third down and 3 for the Bearcats.
Third down and 3.
I wonder what his finishing move would be.
Evans toss, near side, hit right at the line of scrimmage. Punishing blow, sit down at the 15.
Like Charles Furr in on the tackle there with the minimum at the line of scrimmage.
Gage Carr there as well. Fourth down and 3, and as you mentioned, death by 1,000 cuts. Here's a fourth down and 3 knife shot coming right at you.
Will they try trickery here, or will they just come right at you?
I think at this point, no trickery needed.
I think with Chumley, I think they go right to gut with Chumley.
They send 2 receivers out wide right. Double tight set, and that Chad Worrell was trying to call a timeout. Couldn't do it.
2-minute warning.
And they get a 2-minute warning out of it. So I think Pilot Point escaped some disaster right there by the new UIL rule. Speaking of Chad Worrell, you know, he was at Brock, you know. Let me shed some light on this situation, because we do not have a light up here. Chad Worrell, 164 and 66 as a head coach, 20th season. Hometown is right here in Pilot Point. He's had previous stops at Johnson County, Tom Bean, Hamlin, San Antonio, Grape Creek, and Brock. Worrell was at Brock from the start when they began varsity football over 10 years ago. Just their second season, the Eagles won the Class 3A Division I state championship over Cameron Yo in Houston in 2015. Worrell and Brock also played for the title in 2017. So he's got some skins on the wall, baby.
Yeah, he started with Brock when Brock was just a basketball school. Had a lot of athletes over there.
Fourth down and 3, toss near side, trying to hit the near sideline, and that is James again. I think he has the first down.
He did get it. Okay. It was close though. Trying to get around that edge. And he barely got around that edge. First down.
Actually, I think that was Chumley. No, Caden David. Take your pick. There's 6 of them.
Well, and they all run at you with the same velocity, and I mean, they'll run you over.
Yeah, they're not big guys. And they're going to come right at you. There's not a lot of juking around. They lower their shoulder and come right at you.
Ball at the 10-yard line of Howe. Here goes Pilot Point. Toss right side. Chumley around the right tackle. Good for 4 yards to the 6. And it's ground and pound, baby.
And give credit to this defense for Howe. They're kind of making them work for it on this drive.
Brevin Mayo into the game at right defensive end. I still do not see Dylan Patterson, which is obviously concerning. And maybe Malin can find out some information before the half, or right at the half. Under center goes Evans. Handoff right side, easy pickings into the end zone. Ashton Williams goes in for the 4-yard score. And that gives Pilot Point a 38-6 lead with 55 seconds remaining before the half.
At 3 backs in the backfield, just pick one. We got to Williamson in for his first touchdown of the night. Broke to the outside and it was just a foot race. Nobody was going to catch him.
So their scores have come from Caden David, Chumley, Dravian James. They had a field goal from Torres. They had a score from Hunter Newman. And now Ashton Williams. There's the PAT. And it is good. 39-6, our new score. 55 seconds remaining before the half. We'll be right back.
Buying and or selling your next home or property should be an enjoyable experience. At Texoma Land and Home Team, our commitment to the personal relationship of each transaction ensures communication you expect, while assuring that we'll be here the next time you need us. We're not a big box real estate company by design. This freedom allows us to be fully at your service. Texoma Land and Home Team, Renee Nichols Broker, 903-818-1645. Texoma Land and Home Team, for all your real estate needs, 903-818-1645.
Here's some things to never mess with if you're not a trained professional. Caging a bulldog. Removing copperheads. And electricity. Don't get shocked. Call Rapid Electric. Rapid Electric is here for all your electrical needs. Just like you wouldn't try to become a pro boxer or president.
Give me a break.
You need a pro to keep your electricity humming. Don't get shocked. Rapid Electric serves the Grayson County area. Call them at 903-421-8100. 55 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Pilot Point on top, 39-6. Your Kingdom Inflatable scoring drive recap for Pilot Point. 7 plays, 62 yards. Ended on a 4-yard touchdown run by Ashton Williams. They have yet to have a running back score more than once. All kinds of different backs, as we mentioned, Caden Davis, Josh Chumley, Dravian James, Hunter Newman, and now Ashton Williams have all scored for Pilot Point, spreading the wealth. And so let's talk with Malin Walker, our Love Cottage sideline reporter. Malin, you know, you've played on some of these teams where it's, you know, here we go again mentality. What's Coach Smith going to have to tell his troops at the half?
It's going to have to be some tough love. At a certain point, you're just going to have to make that decision to play some physical football. You need to be there for your teammates, and you need to be there for yourself, and you need to be there for your team.
Yeah, you know, his biggest challenge is, you know, the psychological effect
trying to keep him motivated
of the football team. Deacon Bender in the gun, Ryken Cross in motion. Bender's going to be slammed down to the turf for a sack back at the 17-yard line. This drive started at the 25 with a fair catch on the Tech Wave kickoff, but quickly goes backwards 8 yards after the sack.
They look off from the beginning because I think Cross was supposed to take that handoff, and then Bender's spun around like twice before he actually got tackled, and it wasn't by a defender twisting him around.
Pistol formation, ball hit the turf for a moment, and Bender was able to pick it back up and get to the line of scrimmage. Maybe not. Back to the 16-yard line, a loss of 2.
These two plays have been so sloppy. I think Bulldogs are just trying to get to the locker room and.
Well, there's 4, there's
out.
3 seconds, there's 2 seconds. This disastrous half has finally come to an end. 3 fumbles by the Bulldogs, all led to Pilot Point scores. And our halftime advantage is Pilot Point 39, Howe 6. We got a great halftime show for you, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the Baker Air Conditioning halftime show.
This is Roger Tidwell, the PA dude here at Bulldog Stadium. The radio guys and I always fight over how hot and cold it is up here in the press box. But if the AC ever quit working, not only would Walker finally shut his trap, he would call Baker Air Conditioning and Heating. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating has been in Howe for over 50 years. They've been in business that long because they're just good people. Call 903-532-6255. That's 903-532-6255. Shut up, Monty.
Anchors with a Z Boat and RV Storage is located 1 mile off of U.S. Highway 75 in Howe, Texas. Anchors Boat and RV Storage is proud to bring personal, small-town customer service to the growing area of North Texas. With both open and covered parking available, locally owned and operated, members of the Howe Area Chamber of Commerce and the Texas Self-Storage Association. Anchors Boat and RV Storage has 20 amp power available and is manager-occupied at 311 Old Highway 6 in Howe. Visit anchorsboatrvstorage.com or call 903-444-2500.
Buying and or selling your next home or property should be an enjoyable experience. At Texoma Land and Home Team, our commitment to the personal relationship of each transaction ensures communication you expect, while assuring that we'll be here the next time you need us. We're not a big box real estate company by design. This freedom allows us to be fully at your service. Texoma Land and Home Team, Renee Nichols Broker, 903-818-1645. Texoma Land and Home Team, for all your real estate needs, 903-818-1645.
All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights is proud to sponsor the Pride of Howe, Howe High School's Bandsman of the Week. Your hometown Bulldog alumni owned and operated business is here for all your seamless gutter and outdoor Christmas lights needs. Give them a call at 903-819-9183 and let them make your house shine really bright this Christmas. All in custom gutters and Christmas lights. Give them a call at 903-819-9183. All in custom gutters and Christmas lights.
You're listening to the Baker Air Conditioning and Heating Halftime Show. Today's Bandsman of the Week is brought to you by All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights, a firefighter family-owned business. Call them at 903-819-9183. Now let's join Monty Walker with this week's Bandsman of the Week.
This week's Bandsman of the Week is Josh Carr. Now, did you start school in Howe?
No, sir, I didn't. I started in Plainview Elementary in Ardmore, Oklahoma.
When'd you get to Howe?
Around the second semester of my 6th grade year.
When did you start with the band?
I started that year with the band and started as a trumpet.
So you've got Angie Liss, Mrs. Liss, as band director. What kind of leader is she?
She is a very helpful person that helps. Even if you have absolutely no clue what you're doing, she will make sure that she tries her absolute best to help you and help others as much as she can, whether it's giving you a ride home or picking you up for practices or teaching you other things that you may not know how to do, whether it's within your real life outside of band or whether it's in band.
Does she ever talk about her fantasy football team?
Quite often.
It's probably not as good as what she says it is, but we're in the same league. What's your hardest class that you have right now?
I would say probably physics.
Sounds like a very hard class. What is it about physics?
I'm in the honors, so it's just constantly a packet a day. You have 40 questions of something, and just it's a lot. It's quite a lot.
So who's your favorite teacher at Howe High School?
I would probably have to say the band directors, and just all of them.
You're listening to the All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights Bandsman of the Week with Josh Carr. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights is proud to sponsor the pride of Howe High School's Bandsman of the Week. Your hometown Bulldog alumni owned and operated business is here for all your seamless gutter and outdoor Christmas lights needs. Give them a call at 903-819-9183 and let them make your house shine really bright this Christmas. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights. Give them a call at 903-819-9183. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights. You're listening to the All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights Bandsman of the Week with Josh Carr. How's the season gone so far for you?
I would say we're doing really well. I feel like our music is way better than it's been, as well as so there's minor things that we can change that it will always improve over time. But right now I feel very comfortable where we're at and feel really, really, really nice.
In your life, who is someone you look up to?
I would have to say both my parents, Sean Carr and Kayla Robinson.
And what other activities you're involved with at Howe High School?
I'm on the robotics team and with my really good friend Logan Nitchman, Dylan Mayhew, and Benjamin Booth.
So let's talk about robotics. When does the season start, and when is competition, and how good is the robotics team going to be this year? Talk about that.
Well, the season actually started back in May, late May, early June, and it kind of goes throughout the entire year up until we get to the really, really big event of the year, which is called Worlds, where they actually just say, hey, here's the new game, get started. So we realistically, I think our first competition is November 1st, which is also when area is for marching band, so I probably won't be there for that.
Yeah, well, you won't be where? Which one are you going to pick?
I probably won't be at the robotics competition.
Okay, so band takes precedence over that. Okay. What about siblings?
I have 3 younger sisters, Skylar, who's a freshman, Bridget, who's in 5th grade, and the youngest, who is 5 months old now, Maylee.
What's the goal for this band season?
I would say get a better placement than we have in the past couple of years in terms of at the place we don't talk about, you know.
Life after Howe High School. You're a junior, so you've got, some time to think about this, but have you thought about what you want to do after you graduate here at Howe?
I would like to go into the Air Force.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to do some sort of engineering thing there where whether I work on machines or work on actual engines on things. So I would be really fortunate to do that.
Very nice. Now, you switched from trumpet to French horn. When did that happen, and why did that happen?
Well, this happened last year around right after we got back from San Antonio last year. We just needed more French horns, and they kind of asked around and was like, Josh, I think you'd be good at it. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And it's just kind of stuck with me ever since then. So,
how hard is that transition from one horn to another?
I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was. Very, very minor differences. I'd say the hardest part of learning the French horn is learning how high a note is compared to another instrument and how low that note is compared to another instrument, such as like I transferred over from the trumpet.
So Miss Liz said at the very beginning you were kind of a marginal marcher in the band, but have become one of the best marchers in the band. How has that transition taken place?
I honestly think whenever I first started out, I just didn't listen as much as I should have. But I've kind of just taught myself to listen a little bit harder and listen a little bit more and just overall bring more attention to band and not other things like video games or sports and stuff like that, which granted I love all of those, but bringing a little bit more attention to actual school and schoolwork, of course, such as band, but learning, just listening, I felt like that just helped me way more than I used to.
According to my wife, you'll make a good husband one day. You take the lead to help others, is what Miss Liz says. So talk about that.
I feel like there are so many new freshmen here, and even sophomores, juniors, even sometimes the seniors don't know what they're doing, and that's completely fine. If there's any way that I can help, that's just the way I am. I just love to help people in any way, shape, or form, and whether it's learning where they're supposed to be on the field or music-wise, I'm always there to help.
So she also says that you're quirky, funny, and someone she can rely on. So I guess this is where I ask you to say something quirky or funny.
Well, I was not prepared for this, so.
And that is your Bandsman of the Week, Josh Carr.
Today's Bandsman of the Week is brought to you by All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights, a firefighter family-owned business. Call them at 903-819-9183. You're listening to the Baker Air Conditioning and Heating Halftime Show.
All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights is proud to sponsor the pride of Howe High School's Bandsman of the Week. Your hometown Bulldog alumni-owned and operated business is here for all your seamless gutter and outdoor Christmas lights needs. Give them a call at 903-819-9183 and let them make your house shine really bright this Christmas. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights. Give them a call at 903-819-9183. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights.
It's that time of year again where our beloved radio guy won't shut his trap about how hot it is up here in the press box. Thankfully, the good people at Baker Air Conditioning and Heating cool this thing down in no time.
Roger, we're dying over here.
Speaking of hot air, there he is. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating has been serving the community of Howe for nearly 60 years. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating is located on Highway 5, and you can call them at 903-532-6255.
Roger!
From tailgate to touchdown, South State is here to ensure your financial game plan leads you to victory. With cutting-edge digital tools like contactless payment, digital wallet, and more, your financial plays become seamless and convenient. As your trusted banking partner, South State is committed to supporting you every step of the way, providing expert guidance and dedicated assistance on your financial journey. This is Banking Forward, South State Bank, member FDIC.
Anchors with a Z Boat and RV Storage is located 1 mile off of U.S. Highway 75 in Howe, Texas. Anchors Boat and RV Storage is proud to bring personal, small-town customer service to the growing area of North Texas. With both open and covered parking available, locally owned and operated, members of the Howe Area Chamber of Commerce and the Texas Self-Storage Association. Anchors Boat and RV Storage has 20 amp power available and is manager occupied at 311 Old Highway 6 in Howe. Visit anchorsboatrvstorage.com or call 903-444-2500.
You're listening to the Baker Air Conditioning and Heating Halftime Show. Let's join Monty Walker with the Anchors Boat and RV Storage Lady Bulldogs Spotlight.
This week's Lady Bulldogs volleyball spotlight is Addison Donahoe. Now, did you start school here in Howe?
Yes, sir.
And what do you remember? Do you remember your first, your kindergarten teacher or anything about elementary school?
No, just that I took kindergarten twice. That's all I can say.
Okay. When did you start playing volleyball?
In 4th grade or 5th grade.
5th grade. Mm-hmm. New head coach and Coach Lambert. How has that change been?
It's made the whole team a lot better, and that there's a better system, and that's a lot easier to understand.
What's your hardest class that you have right now?
Chemistry.
What is it about chemistry?
Just remembering the notes and trying to specify the details.
Do you have a favorite teacher?
Miss Camp, the chemistry teacher.
So your favorite teacher is also the hardest class?
Yes.
All right, you're listening to the Lady Bulldogs Volleyball Spotlight with Addison Donahoe. This is brought to you by Anchors Boat and RV Storage. We'll be right back.
Anchors with a Z Boat and RV Storage is located 1 mile off of U.S. Highway 75 in Howe, Texas. Anchors Boat and RV Storage is proud to bring personal, small-town customer service to the growing area of North Texas. With both open and covered parking available, locally owned and operated, members of the Howe Area Chamber of Commerce and the Texas Self-Storage Association. Anchors Boat and RV Storage has 20 amp power available and is manager occupied at 311 Old Highway 6 in Howe. Visit anchorsboatrvstorage.com or call 903-444-2500.
You're listening to the Lady Bulldogs Volleyball Spotlight with Addison Donahoe. How has the season gone so far in volleyball?
It's gone pretty good. We're still picking up some things, but I think we're getting there to where we can eventually become our full potential.
Better than last year?
A lot better than last year.
In your life, who is someone you look up to?
I want to say my coaches and my parents, because they've become independent and just how they live life. I don't know how to say it.
What other activities are you involved with at Howe High School?
The Howe High School band, the Pride of Howe, cross country and track.
And what about, what do you play in band?
I play the clarinet.
And how is Miss Liz?
She's great. She's taught me a lot throughout the years, and I hope I don't have to miss her when I graduate.
So let's talk about track a little bit. What do you do in track?
The 1 mile and 2 mile.
Is that something you excel at? Is that something you're going to continue on with throughout your time? You're a sophomore, so you've got 3 years of track. So is that something you're going to continue to do?
Yes, I want to go to college for running, so I'm definitely going to try to excel a lot more at it.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have a younger sibling, Aiden.
How old is Aiden?
He's 12.
Okay. What's the goal for this season as far as volleyball?
To make playoffs and to reach our 100% potential.
What does life after Howe High School look like for Addison Donahoe? I know you're just a sophomore, and maybe people don't think that far down the line, but have you thought about that?
Yes, I'm going to go to whatever college promises me the best for sports medicine and run my running it.
All right, that's your Lady Bulldogs Volleyball Spotlight with Addison Donahoe.
Tonight's Lady Bulldog Spotlight has been brought to you by Anchors Boat and RV Storage. You're listening to the Baker Air Conditioning and Heating Halftime Show.
This is more than a bundle. This is way more than a combo deal. It's your sanctuary, your home field. It's where everything happens. This is your home, your car, your memories. And you want to be sure they're protected with home and auto insurance. As your State Farm agent, I get it. That's why I'm here to help life go right. My name is Ed Meacham, and I'm your Howe State Farm agent. Give me a call at 903-892-3923 or on the web at MrEdInsurance.com.
Buying and or selling your next home or property should be an enjoyable experience. At Texoma Land and Home Team, our commitment to the personal relationship of each transaction ensures communication you expect, while assuring that we'll be here the next time you need us. We're not a big box real estate company by design. This freedom allows us to be fully at your service. Texoma Land and Home Team, Renee Nichols Broker, 903-818-1645. Texoma Land and Home Team, for all your real estate needs, 903-818-1645.
No one wants to talk about losing a loved one. The grief that is put on your family is troublesome. Scoggins Funeral Home strives to make that most difficult time the easiest. We want your loved one to be sent off in the best way possible, with your wishes at heart. Call us at 903-482-5225 or visit our website at scogginsfuneralhome.com. 903-482-5225. Our location on Van Alstyne Parkway makes everything close for your needs. 903-482-5225. Scoggins Funeral Home.
This is Roger Tidwell, the PA dude here at Bulldog Stadium. The radio guys and I always fight over how hot and cold it is up here in the press box. But if the AC ever quit working, not only would Walker finally shut his trap, he would call Baker Air Conditioning and Heating. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating has been in Howe for over 50 years. They've been in business that long because they're just good people. Call 903-532-6255. That's 903-532-6255. Shut up, Monty.
You're listening to the Baker Air Conditioning and Heating Halftime Show. Now let's go back to the stadium with Justin White, Malin Walker, Jake Roberts, and Stephen Braswell.
Welcome back. Pilot Point leads Howe 39-6 at the half. It's time for a little stats with Braz. I guess let's just go ahead and kick it off. What do you got for us?
Yeah, Jake. You know what? Right now for the Bulldogs, the team totals go. They're 0 for 5. Bender is 0 for 5 passing. So that's 0 passing yards so far. Like I heard you mention, he put a couple of them on the money.
Yeah, he's had some good throws.
Great defensive plays on a couple of them. So
yeah, the corners for Pilot Point have really been able to stay with Ryland Strong has been his primary target, it seems like, and they've just been able to stay step for step with him. So.
Yep, they're looking for him primarily. Anyways, the 136 yards total offense, and that's all on rushes, 20 rushes for 136. We'll get to the individual stats in a minute, but there's one person primarily responsible for most of those. We've lost 3 fumbles so far and been 6 first downs. As far as Pilot Point goes, they're 2 for 6 for 70 yards passing. Rushing, they're 27 rushes, 260 yards. They've had 12 first downs so far and 330 yards total in the first half.
Wow, that's a dominant first half.
It is
for Pilot Point.
It is. For the Bulldogs, as far as individual stats go, rushing, Bounds, 8 rushes, 145 yards. With the 1 long touchdown, unfortunately, there's been 2 fumbles also.
Yeah, Knox has had a bit of a hot and a cold game. I mean, he had the touchdown, obviously, and he's had a couple big runs, but the fumbles are.
And Knox is the only one with positive yards on it. Bender, 9 rushes, -2 yards, 1 fumble. Garrett Rogers, 1 rush, -2 yards, and Cross, 2 rushes for -5 yards. I already mentioned Bender 0 for 5 on passing, and receiving there's none either. As far as Pilot Point goes, rushing wise, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rushers so far.
So they've
yards.
Wow.
7 have carried a ball. Newman 2 rushes, 91 yards, 1 touchdown. David 7 for 80, 2 touchdowns. Chumley 11 for 76, 1 touchdown and 1 fumble. James 1 rush, 10 yards. Williamson 3 for 9 with a TD. Garrett Evans 1 for -1, and Pickerel had 1 rush for -8 yards. Passing wise, you've got Pickerel's actually attempted 2, and he's got all the five. He's got the 70-yard for them, and Evans, the regular quarterback, he's only attempted 1 pass so far.
Man, if you had told me like for their rushing, I would have told you that Chumley had the most yards.
Yeah.
Because it seems like I guess he's touched the ball the most.
He's touched it 11 times. You're right, but Newman 2 rushes for 91 yards.
Yeah, the big
it's
the
not
big
a bad
one.
46-yard average.
No,
almost.
Yeah. So.
Receiving wise, you got F 1 for 35 and Newman 1 for 35. So that's the halftime stats.
Well, there's the halftime stats. We'll be right back right after this with, I believe, little highlights. Do that right for this.
No one wants to talk about losing a loved one. The grief that is put on your family is troublesome. Scoggins Funeral Home strives to make that most difficult time the easiest. We want your loved one to be sent off in the best way possible, with your wishes at heart. Call us at 903-482-5225 or visit our website at scogginsfuneralhome.com. 903-482-5225. Our location on Van Alstyne Parkway makes everything close for your needs. 903-482-5225. Scoggins Funeral Home.
Who's your local plumber? Brother Plumber. It's good to know someone local and someone you can trust when your home or office drops the ball.
Main line break, 15 yards.
Brother Plumber is plumb professional and serves not only Howe, but also all of Grayson County. And you can save yourself 10% if you mention Go Bulldogs. Visit us online at brotherplumber.com. We'd love to help. Brother Plumber is one call away at 469-968-4487. Visit us online at brotherplumber.com. Remember, Go Bulldogs.
It's halftime, and it's 39-6, Pilot Point in the lead. No fumbles so far during the half. Let's go over the highlights for you and recap this first half. And Jake, are you just about ready?
I am ready for our lowlights. Of the half.
Well, yeah. There's one highlight for sure.
There's 2 Howe highlights.
Okay, well, let's start with the very first drive of the game where Pilot Point started at their own 43-yard line, drove 4 plays until Howe made magic happen.
2 backs in the backfield, handoff. And that is Chumley breaking out of tackles in the backfield. Ball's on the turf, and this will be a big loss unless Howe has the football, and Howe has the football.
Charles Furr came up with the fumble recovery for Howe, which gave them the ball at their own 45-yard line, but ended in a punt. Pilot Point took it at their own 32-yard line, drove 5 plays and 68 yards, and it ended on this 17-yard touchdown by Caden David.
Toss right side. This is David again to the near corner. He is in untouched in the front corner of the south end zone, and Pilot Point takes the first lead.
And they also added a 2-point conversion, which made it 8-0 with 7:58 remaining in the first quarter. Howe's second possession also ended in a three-and-out punt. Pilot Point took it at their own 33-yard line. They drove 8 plays and 67 yards, and Chumley scored from 10 yards out.
Evans toss right side. That's Chumley to the 5. Runs over. Right and cross.
That's a 10-yard touchdown for Pilot Point, making it 15-0 after the PAT. Howe took it at their own, Howe took it at their own 20-yard line. Looks like they were making some moves, moved on into the second quarter, but then a fumble happened, and they took it back to Pilot Point at the 41-yard line. And Pilot Point only needed 3 plays to score.
Evans under center, toss near side, looking for the corner, breaks out of a tackle, onto the 10, onto the 15, onto the 5, onto the end zone.
Dravian James scored from 31 yards out on a 3-play, 41-yard drive to give Pilot Point a 22-0 lead with 10:47 left to go in the second quarter. Howe's next possession, another fumble. And it led to another Pilot Point score. This one ended a 4-play, 0-yard drive on a 30-yard field goal by Anthony Torres.
The kick from the middle of the field is up high and true. So add 3 to the already lead of Pilot Point.
That made it 25-0 with 9:19 left to go in the second. Howe's next possession, 3rd fumble in a row. Gave it back to Pilot Point, who only needed 1 play to score.
Near side, not even breaking tackles, wide open. I don't even think he's touched. That's Hunter Newman on his way for an 85-yard touchdown. Ends up right down the middle of the field, zigzagging. He is fast. Hunter Newman, probably the fastest young man on the field tonight. And that made it 32-0 with 6:48 left to go in the second quarter. Howe's only big offensive highlight, other than Knox Bounds runs here and there, was a big Knox Bounds run of 62 yards. Third down and 10, handoff to Bounds, left side, follows Gage Carr, look out, here goes Bounds, 40, 30, 20, 10, kiss him goodbye. Howe is on the board. Hallelujah. Where's the Tylenol? 5 plays, 75 yards for Howe. Made it 32-6. Howe was unable to convert the PAT on a high snap. And then Pilot Point took the ball at their own 38-yard line, and it took them 7 plays and 62 yards on the drive. Under center goes Evans. Handoff right side, easy pickings into the end zone. 4-yard touchdown for Ashton Williams. So they had 5 touchdowns in the first half, all by 5 different ball carriers. And our halftime score is 39-6. We're going to take a quick timeout. The teams are coming back on the field. We'll be right back right after this.
At Grayson Cullen Electric Cooperative, GCEC, we have been around for over 80 years and are governed by 7 principles: open and voluntary membership, democratic member control, members' economic participation, autonomy and independence, education, training, and information, cooperation among cooperatives, and concern for community. One of our communities is Howe, Texas, and GCEC is proud to support the Howe Bulldogs.
This is Bulldogs head coach Jake Smith, and it didn't take me long to get to know where Sonic of Howe is. After practice or games, I like to head down to 105 North Collins Freeway, grab a burger, tots, and a shake. As a matter of fact, I like to say, it's Sonic time in Texas.
Yeah, Coach, that's kind of my thing.
Oh, okay. How about Sonic really brings the hammer down?
Coach, that's kind of my thing.
With Sonic, I'm highly motivated, truly dedicated.
Yeah, Coach, that's another one of my lines.
How about this? It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Yeah, I like that.
Welcome back. Monty Walker along with Justin White, Stephen Braswell, Jake Roberts, and Malin Walker. Justin, let's talk about this first half a little bit, and then let's get it out of the way and talk about something else, because it was not good.
No, the turnovers didn't help things. Execution on defense. Basically, Pilot Point just kind of had their way with this Howe defense, running all over with their wing tee offense. But the fact that you shoot yourselves in the foot with 3 turnovers in that first half.
That all led to scores.
Yeah, that all led to scores. I mean, that's just kind of been demoralizing. The only bright spot we talked about is Knox Bounds. He's got I think 143 yards on 8 carries, a couple of touchdowns, a touchdown in the first half. He's the only bright spot on the team.
But also, what comes with that Knox Bounds stat line is
2 fumbles. Yeah, 2 fumbles that he had. 2 of the 3 fumbles that the Bulldogs offense had come from Knox Bounds.
Wow, they got quite the light show here at Pilot Point, and the whole press box is vibrating. It feels like we might be driving through South Dallas with the vibration of the press box and the bass.
Yeah, feel in your bones as it vibrates.
So Pilot Point and both teams are out. Howe should get the football first to start the second half, and they will be, if I remember correctly, they'll be moving right to left towards the north end zone. Maybe. Yeah, I believe that's right.
One thing Monty to think about too is, and you talked about during the first half, is the psychological part of this. Is trying to keep the kids engaged, try to keep them motivated here, even though you're down by 33 points. Just trying to not have them give up.
Yeah, because
continue to play hard.
When you're a team and a program who hasn't had, a whole lot of success here lately, hey, they always say winning is contagious, but also is losing.
Can be, yeah.
And that's difficult sometimes to overcome, because you've got to rearrange all of your psychological aspects. And Howe's going through that right now. And you mentioned this in the second quarter. They had made so much progress that things were looking good, but this first half may have set them back 5 steps. Here's the Tech Wave kickoff. Going to go to Ryken Cross, who drops it for a moment, picks it back up at the 20-yard line, trying to find the seam. He's free! Look out! Ryken Cross, 40, being chased down, 30, 20, kiss him goodbye! There's the Ryken Cross big yardage score that you wanted to start the second half.
I talked about during the break, they've got to get the ball to him other than just handing the ball off. Got to do it in the passing game. But another way is get him some space in his kicking game, in this return game. And right there to kick off the second half, an opening touchdown, and maybe a shot in the arm for this Bulldog team.
80 yards on the kick return, and the ball, don't forget, the ball hit the turf. It's kind of like we talked about this, those dangerous runners, sometimes that helps out because it creates lanes. We remember Jaden, I can't remember his name from Commerce, but he comes to mind every time we talk about this.
Yeah, and I don't know what the deal is with that, how that helps, somehow helps the returner when they drop the ball or mishandle it. But either way, it pays off for the Bulldogs.
Second baseman Fernando Sanchez on for the PAT. An easy throw to first base, and it's 39-13, our new score. And all we got to do is send Jake Roberts to the restroom, and we get a score.
Stay there, Jake.
We'll be back right after this timeout.
What's up, guys? It's Ridley Carter. I'm a senior cross country and long distance track runner.
This is Riley McCollum, senior basketball player and leading strikeout softball pitcher.
I'm Dylan Patterson, graduating football player and powerlifter.
I'm Ayla Jones, class of 2026 volleyball player.
We would like to thank the Howe Athletic Booster Club for the support of Howe student athletes and encourage anyone interested in helping to join.
Go Dogs!
If your home or business could talk, what would it say? It may say it would like some privacy or security. Enjoy the beauty and durability of quality fencing from MTE Fence. MTE Fence is a local company specializing in commercial and residential fencing. MTE Fence ranges from wood, aluminum, and chain link fencing. MTE Fence services all of Grayson County and surrounding areas. Go to mtefence.com or call 903-686-9039 for an estimate. MTE Fence has a passion for connection. We are your connection for quality.
Your Kingdom inflatable scoring drive recap, 0 plays because it was an 80-yard kick return by Ryken Cross. Finally found some open space, and when he does, he is so dangerous because he is so fast. Our new score, 39-13, and the Tech Wave kickoff is a pooch kick. It's going to bounce around and finally end up in the arms of a Pilot Point Bearcat coming all the way to the near side 40. Look out, 30, 25-20 down the sidelines. In for the score, back-to-back kick returns, and this one is David Pickrell answering right back for Pilot Point. What you can do, I can do, they say. And so kick return to start this thing.
Basically an onside kick backfired. They kicked kind of a line drive. It was fielded over on the 40 on the far side by the Howe side of the field, near the Howe sideline. And they just formed a wall as he returned it back the other way toward the Pilot Point sideline. And then it was just a foot race to the end zone.
Well, all the momentum that they had to start with is now out. Can you answer right back with another kick return? Anthony Torres to do the kicking. And yes, Jake, I turned it on. But after the Ryken Cross touchdown. So we didn't get that.
I'll go back and find it.
No, it was not recorded. And the PAT is good. Anthony Torres bangs it through, and it's 46-13. With 11:37 left to go in the third, we'll be back.
What's up, guys? It's Ridley Carter. I'm a senior cross country and long distance track runner.
This is Riley McCollum, senior basketball player and leading strikeout softball pitcher.
I'm Dylan Patterson, graduating football player and powerlifter.
I'm Ayla Jones, class of 2026 volleyball player.
We would like to thank the Howe Athletic Booster Club for the support of Howe student athletes and encourage anyone interested in helping to join.
Go Dogs!
If your home or business could talk, what would it say? It may say it would like some privacy or security. Enjoy the beauty and durability of quality fencing from MTE Fence. MTE Fence is a local company specializing in commercial and residential fencing. MTE Fence ranges from wood, aluminum, and chain link fencing. MTE Fence services all of Grayson County and surrounding areas. Go to mtefence.com or call 903-686-9039 for an estimate. MTE Fence has a passion for connection. We are your connection for quality.
46-13, our new score after back-to-back kick returns, one by Ryken Cross for 80 yards for Howe, and one just a moment ago by Pickrell for 60 yards. Here's another kick return, Tech Wave kick return, going to be taken by Ryken Cross. This time he's bottled up at the 20-yard line. So our streak ends at 2. There's a flag on the play.
Maybe the re-kick it. Maybe it'll be on.
Yeah, re-kick. Make them re-kick.
Keep the streak alive.
We'll see what the flag is about. As there's a huddle with the officials.
Flag is still laying on the ground, too, at the 30-yard line, right by Coach Smith.
We'll check down with our Love Cottage sideline reporter, Malin Walker. Malin, did any idea what Jake Smith could have told his troops during half?
I don't know, but I think I need it as evident from that kickoff return touchdown. They just need to keep their heads in the game. They need to focus on what's working, and what's working is knocks, leaps, and bounds. They need to feed that kid the ball, and hey, maybe even give Ryken, since he just got an opportunity and proved who he really is.
Yeah, when he gets a lane, we all know who he is if he can get that lane. That's been the problem early on in this season, is finding that seam and him able to squeeze through it. Bender and Howe will have it at their own 35-yard line, and they may have drawn Pilot Point offsides again.
They did. And that was a personal foul on the kickoff against Pilot Point, hence the good field position they have.
So Howe now will have it at their own 40 to start this drive, and are moving from our right to our left, which is south to north here at Massey Stadium. An old park, not quite as old as Bulldog Stadium. Pistol look for Howe. Bender now comes up to the line of scrimmage and says something, perhaps changing the call, as now Knox Bounds moves to the right. Bender's going to keep it over right guard, and he go nowhere. Maybe to the line of scrimmage, to the 42. Are they going to 42-yard line?
On the keeper, number 11.
Try to run that quarterback sneak. There's just too many guys in the box. There's 8 guys in the box on that defense for Pilot Point, and just kind of waiting for Bender to run it. No lanes to run through.
A deep pass down the right side to Ryland Strong, and it's just out of his outstretched arms and falls incomplete. That was a deep ball down to the 20-yard line.
And it was a pretty good pass, had a little bit too much air on it. Strong had got past his guy, had a step on it, and just couldn't run underneath it.
And really, I mean, it really was just about a yard overthrown. And I mean, he would have been gone if he had been able to bring that ball in. No one behind him. And we all know how fast Ryland Strong is.
3rd down and 5. I would like to see him and Hunter Newman in a foot race. Bender on the move, throws it down the field, and that one is caught, and that is a first down. And getting up a little gimpy, is that Cross?
I think that's Cross, I
Ryken
think.
Cross on the catch, and he is down on the ground. He got up and hopped on one foot for about 8 yards on the out-of-bounds side, but he's down.
That was a good catch, because I thought that was going out of bounds. He caught that as he went out of bounds. And kind of got pushed at kind of very close to the end, not necessarily an illegal push, but got pushed into a table over on that far side. And as you said, come up limping and hobbling over that far sideline. I think that's the first completed pass. Braz may need to back me up on this. That's the first completed pass for Deacon Bender.
And that was 22 yards.
At 10:46 in the 3rd quarter. And Cross, who hasn't had a lot of catches this season, I believe maybe 7 coming into the game tonight. And catches his first one here tonight.
Trainer Mark Stein still working on Cross down there. He's on his back. He now gets up, and not on his feet, but at least his upper torso is up. I think we've got a official timeout on the field. We'll take 1-2. We'll be back in at least 30 seconds.
This is more than a bundle. This is way more than a combo deal. It's your sanctuary, your home field. It's where everything happens. This is your home, your car, your memories. And you want to be sure they're protected with home and auto insurance. As your State Farm agent, I get it. That's why I'm here to help life go right. My name is Ed Meacham, and I'm your Howe State Farm agent. Give me a call at 903-892-3923 or on the web at mredinsurance.com.
First down and 10 for Howe as we're back to action. And Bender rolls back in the gun. And now he drops back 3 steps, wants to hammer it deep down the field, and overshoots his intended receiver, Ryland Strong, at 2 orange jerseys right there with him, running stride for stride. It'll be second down and 10. Ryken Cross looked like, we don't want to speculate, but maybe, what looks like the turned ankle type of thing, and if that's all it is, that's that can be very costly. But here's a handoff, knocks bounds, hit at the line of scrimmage, breaks out left, cuts right, up the middle, still moving the pile to the 25-yard line. It's going to be close to a first down.
Had Gage Carr kind of lead the way for him. And then H-back spot. The shotgun gave it to Bounds, and he got behind Carr and got enough for the first down.
Let's just hope Ryken Cross.
He wouldn't put any pressure on. I can't see which leg it was, but he wouldn't put any pressure. He had to get help to get to the table.
Let's hope he doesn't end up with a knee replacement because of this field.
That'd make 2 of you, huh?
That'd make 2 of us. Bender is going to keep it himself up the middle. Gets back to the line of scrimmage.
On the tackle,
to the 26-yard line.
They want to do something with that quarterback keeper, but it has just not been there tonight.
Everything's been bottled up. That 10-1 special has been very special for the Pilot Point Bearcats tonight. 9:48 on the clock here in the third. 46-13 our score. Second down and 10. Bender in the gun, drops back, rolls right into pressure, escapes 1 defender, escapes 2 defenders, and bear crawls his way back to the line of scrimmage. They'll mark him at the 26. It'll be third down and 10.
Sprint out to his right. He had blitz coming from his front and back side, and somehow he was just able to kind of roll his way back to the line of scrimmage. Thank goodness.
Well, and he could have had more if he had been able to break that last defender that kind of brought him down on almost like an ankle tackle.
He didn't really have much time to look downfield. That blitz coming.
Third down and 10. Pistol formation. Man in motion. Bender keeps it left side. Tackled at the line of scrimmage. Might have lost a yard. Fourth down coming up. I don't know about Fernando Sanchez's range just yet. And I'm not sure this is the time when you're down by 33.
Would that be a 44-yard field goal?
It would set the school record by a yard. But instead, Howe on 4th and 11 is going to go for it. Buttery goes in motion. And now whistles.
Timeout.
Howe's called a timeout. We'll take 1-2. 8:27 left to go in the third. 46-13 Pilot Point.
From tailgate to touchdown, South State is here to ensure your financial game plan leads you to victory. With cutting-edge digital tools like contactless payment, digital wallet, and more, your financial plays become seamless and convenient. As your trusted banking partner, South State is committed to supporting you every step of the way, providing expert guidance and dedicated assistance on your financial journey. This is Banking Forward, South State Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, Hey, Steve here, the Crazy AC Guy. We raise top-notch AC units and train the finest service techs west of the Mississippi. And we got a truly crazy deal for you. Get 0% financing for 60 months for any qualified air conditioning and heating system. You'd have to be crazy like me to miss this deal. So for all your AC and electrical needs, call us at 903-465-2665 or visit us at crazyacguy.com.
The Crazy AC Guy, where crazy meets quality.
4th down and 11 for Howe. Garrett Rogers in the backfield. Rolling out right is Bender setting up the screen. This one's going to be intercepted at the 25-yard line and running straight down the far side. Pilot Point will score again. Insult to injury, and Pilot Point has hit half 100. 52-13, our new score, awaiting a PAT with 8:13 left to go in the third.
That looked like a screen trying to develop, but Rogers was not there, and the Bearcat defender,
David Pickrell.
Pickrell, I think that's his 3rd touchdown of the night. Maybe just a second.
I think that was 75 yards. So coming out of the swinging gate. Howe's 4th turnover.
Man.
Anthony Torres on for the PAT. Caden David to hold. Snap is back. It's on the tee. The kick is up, and the kick is true. 53-13, our new score. 8:13 on the clock here in the third. We'll be right back.
Buying and or selling your next home or property should be an enjoyable experience. At Texoma Land and Home Team, our commitment to the personal relationship of each transaction ensures communication you expect, while assuring that we'll be here the next time you need us. We're not a big box real estate company by design. This freedom allows us to be fully at your service. Texoma Land and Home Team, Renee Nichols Broker, 903-818-1645. Texoma Land and Home Team, for all your real estate needs, 903-818-1645.
Here's some things to never mess with if you're not a trained professional. Caging a bulldog. Removing copperheads. And electricity. Don't get shocked. Call Rapid Electric. Rapid Electric is here for all your electrical needs. Just like you wouldn't try to become a pro boxer or president.
Give me a break.
You need a pro to keep your electricity humming. Don't get shocked. Rapid Electric serves the Grayson County area. Call them at 903-421-8100.
Torres on for the Tech Wave kickoff. It's going to roll near the out-of-bounds marker, and Howe barely got on. And now a flag comes down, as I think that one went out of bounds. Your Kingdom Inflatable scoring drive recap was an interception, so no plays. But it was we believe it was a 75-yard interception returned by David Pickrell. And that brings us our new score, 53-13, with 8:12 remaining in quarter number 3.
Is it story time yet?
We're
getting close.
We need a lot of stories. We may have to go game by game. You know, what's disheartening is what we talked about, is Howe was making all kinds of strides up to this point. And you can't let this set you back psychologically, as we've also mentioned, that you're going to have these moments within a season, but you've got to be able to fight through. And Howe comes to the line of scrimmage here from their own 25-yard line. 8:12 on the clock. Bender's going to keep it around the right side. Some positive yardage here. About a 6-yard run for Bender to the 31-yard line. 8:02 on the clock, as I don't think it moved. And now it's moving.
More confusion on that play there. It was supposed to go to bounds, and Bender looked to his left or looked to his right. Nobody was there, and just had to run it himself.
2nd down and 4 coming up. But you know, Nick Saban once told his team, you got to find out what your breaking point is. Where is your breaking point? As it's 2nd down and 4, handoff to Bounds, trapped at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 maybe coming up as he lost a yard. And then Nick Saban told his team, I live
on the coast in Florida, so I had to get hurricane windows because I needed to find the strength that would withstand those types of winds. So you players are going to have to find out what is your breaking point. What kind of windows do you have to have so that your window doesn't shatter? And I think Howe's at that point right now trying to find their hurricane window. Toss right side. This could be a fairly significant loss in the backfield. Well, I think that was Knox. No, it was not. It was Garrett Rogers on the toss, and he was trapped back to the 25-yard line.
Well, I mean, if there's any silver lining you think about is that, these 4 games, they don't count toward the playoffs. I mean, you would like to have ended non-district with a positive note, but starting next week, it starts counting for real.
And you
take on an S&S team that has struggled, but you don't want to underestimate a team like that.
No, they are much improved over past several seasons. Just by, you can tell by the scoreboards that they are playing a little bit above the S&S level.
Well, and what you were saying is like they can't let this affect them mentally, especially going into district next week. They've got to kind of forget this sort of a performance.
4 turnovers. Rogers will punt it away from his 7-yard line. End over end kick, going to bounce at midfield. Take a sideways bounce and a little bit towards the north end zone and roll out of bounds, and Pilot Point will start at their own 43-yard line. The bad thing here is, you kind of want to run the clock and get this game over with, but Pilot Point runs the ball so well.
I know.
And Malin, you were talking about a stat, during the halftime break. Talk about that and what you've seen.
Yeah, that's right. I think the most important stat taking away from this game is yards after contact. Pilot Point has just breaking off of tackles every single time, while the Howe offense gets stopped after 1, maybe 2 defenders. Our biggest runs have been runs that have been taken by Knox Bounds after shedding 3-4 tackles.
1st and 10, left to right. Thanks, Malin. Under center goes Evans, a handoff. First man through and very quickly through the line of scrimmage. Boy, they get off the ball very quickly, and that is Josh Chumley on the carry. He gains 4 near midfield to the 48. They get 5 yards before you can blink.
I mean, it reminds me a lot like Bells, just kind of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and it's, usually if they're close to first down, they're going to go for it at 4th down.
2 men in the backfield. Evans is going to roll out left, looking to throw down the field, and it's almost intercepted. Not able to bring it in is that Buttery? Buttery back there.
Yeah, it was just a little over his head. He was frustrated. He threw his hands up after that.
But it brings up 3rd down. Clock stops at 5:18. Ball rests at the 48-yard line. Earlier we were talking about the 1998 by-district game. We'll get back to that perhaps after this play. Here's a toss left side. Trying to find the corner, does. Lots of room. 1st down and out of bounds at the Howe 38-yard line. Another 1st down. So back in 1998, we talked about them, the Bulldogs being defeated 43-0 early in the season by Pilot Point. So they get to that game in the first round of the playoffs, and no one gave Howe a chance to win that game. They were significant underdogs. They were even playing in Denton over here in Pilot Point's backyard. And Howe was the quote-unquote home team, wearing the black jerseys and all of that. 1st and 10. Evans wants to throw, rolls out right. Throws on the run. It's going to be caught at the 30. Down the sidelines. Into the end zone goes tight end Case Stuckley. 38 yards on the pass and catch from Evans to Stuckley, and it's 59-13. awaiting this Torres PAT.
Pilot Point showing they can pass the ball as well in that little play action sprint out by Evans. And Stuckley's a big kid too.
Yeah, he is.
He rumbled down the sidelines.
And he's a senior, so Howe will not see him next year if they're on the schedule. Looking for 60 and a rollout right. Now back left to the other side is Caden David, and he goes in for the 2-point conversion. He's blasted at the line of scrimmage, and I'm not sure if a flag came in, but Pilot Point adds 2 points, and they're going to wave off the flag. 61-13, our new score. 4:35 left to go in the third. We'll be back.
All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights is proud to sponsor the Pride of Howe High School's Bandsman of the Week. Your hometown Bulldog alumni owned and operated business is here for all your seamless gutter and outdoor Christmas lights needs. Give them a call at 903-819-9183 and let them make your house shine really bright this Christmas. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights. Give them a call at 903-819-9183. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights.
It's that time of year again where our beloved radio guy won't shut his trap about how hot it is up here in the press box. Thankfully, the good people at Baker Air Conditioning and Heating cool this thing down in no time.
Roger, we're dying over here.
Speaking of hot air, there he is. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating has been serving the community of Howe for nearly 60 years. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating is located on Highway 5, and you can call them at 903-532-6255.
Roger! Your Kingdom Inflatables scoring drive recap. 4 plays, 57 yards for Pilot Point. Ended on a 38-yard Evans to Stuckley touchdown. And something happened there. I think the ball fell off the tee on the Tech Wave kickoff. Kingdom Inflatables. They've had their fair share of mentions tonight. We serve his kingdom. Call them at 903-816-5486. Here's a Tech Wave kickoff. Fair catch is called for at the 26-yard line. If you need any inflatables, birthday parties, anything like that, call Kingdom Inflatables, 903-816-5486. And that's a Howe grad running that organization over there. I want to say thanks to the alumni. Speaking of alumni, there's an all-school reunion next week for homecoming. If you're alumni out there, come on back home, shake some hands, say hello to some old folks that may have gray hair these days.
Taking on the Rams of SNS should be a good game.
I think we'll have a guest appearance from Ed Meacham, a former color analyst from way back in the day. Handoff to Knox Bounds, right side, trying to break a tackle. Hit pretty hard, but fights through that. Up to the 30 for a gain of 3, maybe 4. As Howe started at the 25-yard line, they're actually going to give him the 31. Nope, they're going to. So no, I take that back. Howe started at the 27, and they're going to give him the 30.
Howe not in a big hurry right now, trying to keep that Pilot Point offense off the field.
10 on the play clock, and this is Bender going to keep it around the right edge. And good for a little chunk of about 3 or 4. Gets him closer to the end stick with a 3rd and 3 thereabouts coming up from the 34-yard line.
You know, this is a good Pilot Point team Howe's playing tonight.
They certainly are.
They've been the last couple of years.
I don't know if they're 4 turnovers from 63 points good. But you got to give them credit.
They took advantage of what they
absolutely did.
What the defense gave them.
Handoff up the middle.
Offense gave them.
Right now the ball spotted at the 37-yard line. There's a flag on the play, but officials are saying move the sticks. If that's the first down, we'll have a 1st and 10. So did I tell you about 1998?
You're talking a little bit about it, about the run. Howe was underdogs.
So they go into that game, and Pilot Point, I'm afraid, were really thinking that was going to be a pretty easy win since they won 43-0. Snap back, handoff to Rogers. No, it's bounds. Maybe a yard to the 38-yard line. So little did Pilot Point know that Howe had what would be the all-time leading rusher, and there's some debate on a couple of yards there, whether it's Tyler Grisham or Nathaniel Falls. In this case, Nathaniel Falls, who they call Nino, just slaughtered Pilot Point. Here's a run up the middle, getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Did he not play that first game? 43-0?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's pretty lopsided. I mean, that's a significant difference.
And I was in the stands, so I was doing Sherman games at that time, so I was in the stands. So Sherman must have been eliminated, or they were still in the playoffs at that time, so must have played on a Saturday night. I'm not sure the circumstances, but I was in the bleachers at Denton that night, and I kept waiting. Pilot Point's probably going to turn the page here, and things are going to start clicking for them, and it never did. Bender keeps it up the middle again, and Howe continues to try to roll this clock. It's going to be 4th down and 10.
It's 4th down.
And the punt team comes on for Howe. There's $1:28 left to go in the third.
Bulldogs not interested in throwing the ball right now, keeping it on the ground all plays.
Well, and Bender just kind of taking a beating that drive. It seemed like there was a bunch of busted plays, and he had to just kind of make up for it.
Rogers back to punt, stand at his own 25-yard line. An end-over-end kick, going to bounce at the 37-yard line, take a Howe bounce, and finally roll dead at the 28-yard line, where Pilot Point will start their next drive.
And I think something to think about with this season is really, if you're Howe, you kind of wish you had a bye going into district, but you don't have that till after week 9.
Yeah, that's a horrible schedule.
You're going to play 9 weeks of games. By that time, you're probably either in or out of the playoffs.
It's almost as bad as the Bill Jailing era when Howe was in the Little Big 12 and had week 10 as a bye week. Mm-hmm. Come on, give me a break.
You caught no breaks.
No breaks. Another interesting Pilot Point and Howe game back in 1991, where Howe only gave up 47 points all season long. The defense was amazing. Led them to the district championship, but the first district game was Pilot Point at Bulldogs Stadium. Howe held their offense scoreless as it's 1st and 10 from the 29. Here's a toss near side, trying to find the corner, has a big lane to run, and brought down after about an 8-yard run. And that is Dravian. Let me see. Dravian James on the carry. So Howe scored 3. Let me mark this real quick. Howe scored 3 in the game, held Pilot Point's offense scoreless, but gave up a kick return to open the second half, and that was Pilot Point's only score.
That was 91.
There's a first down run by Pilot Point up to the 40-yard line. Now, how you would think at that point, since Pilot Point won the opening game, that they would more than likely be the district champions because they had a leg up on Howe, who was picked to win the district. And that's the end of the third quarter. We'll finish this conversation in the fourth quarter. 61-13 our score. We'll be right back.
It's that time of year again where our beloved radio guy won't shut his trap about how hot it is up here in the press box. Thankfully, the good people at Baker Air Conditioning and Heating cool this thing down in no time.
Roger, we're dying over here.
Speaking of hot air, there he is. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating has been serving the community of Howe for nearly 60 years. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating is located on Highway 5, and you can call them at 903-532-6255.
Roger!
Anchors with a Z Boat and RV Storage is located 1 mile off of U.S. Highway 75 in Howe, Texas. Anchors Boat and RV Storage is proud to bring personal, small-town customer service to the growing area of North Texas. With both open and covered parking available, locally owned and operated, members of the Howe Area Chamber of Commerce and the Texas Self-Storage Association. Anchors Boat and RV Storage has 20 amp power available and is manager-occupied at 311 Old Highway 6 in Howe. Visit anchorsboatrvstorage.com or call 903-444-2500.
Caleb Reed on the carry for Pilot Point gains 8 yards to the 48 to set up a second and short. So going back to 1991, Pilot Point had a leg up to win the district that year with the 7-3 defeat of Howe and on the opening district game. Man goes in motion here, 2nd down and 2. Evans is going to keep it himself, knocked down hard, but enough for a first down. He was hit by Jameer Brown.
I think that's a different quarterback in there now. Number 5, that's Carter Locke.
Okay.
Head quarterback now.
They'll spot it at the 45 in Howe territory. But late in the season, Bells ended up defeating Pilot Point, which shocked everybody. And then that threw the whole thing into a mess to where Howe had to beat Bells by 5, which was the final game of the season.
What year is this again?
1991. 2 receivers and 2 slots, shotgun formation, slinging it incomplete is Locke, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. So Howe had to win by 5 at Bells to win the district championship.
Number 5, Carter Locke.
Howe ends up winning 12-7.
It went by at least 5 or more than 5?
They had to win by 5.
Oh, wow.
5 or more, won 12-7. That was my senior year, by the way. Toss out near side, trying to cut the corner, can't do it. A fumble, maybe a strip on the play at Pilot Point. I think retained possession, and they have. But it's going to be a loss. One side judge says the 49 of the Howe side. The far side judge says the 48 of the Pilot Point side. And they'll mark it at the 49 of the Pilot Point side.
Got a lot of second stringers in there for, at least for Howe. A lot of reserves.
Snap back to Locke, rolls right, wants to throw down the field, does, slings it out of bounds. It's incomplete, 4th down coming up. On this date in Bulldog history, in 1986, Howe played at Salina and was a significant underdog that night. Salina did not have their star running back Anthony Lynn, who was injured. And the opening kick of the game went 90 yards by Stephen Ogle, and Howe took an early lead. And ended up coming down to the wire. So that's 39 years ago today. And then here's a punt by Pilot Point. It's a high punt, going to bounce at the 28-yard line, roll towards the Howe end zone, but stop at the 25. So Howe had the lead, and then, of course, Salina being Salina, they fought their way back and was leading in the football game and until the very final minutes of the game. And Howe head coach at the time was Jim Fryer. And they called a timeout. Everybody's huddled up on the sidelines. And Ron Sauceman, the center, said, Coach Fryer, I think we can run quarterback sneak and get this in here for a touchdown to tie the game. And Coach Fryer said, Ron,
I think you're right. And so Jeff Simmons, the quarterback, who was the superintendent's son, ended up scoring the tying touchdown. Ramiro Quintero scored the PAT, which gave Howe shocking 23-22 win at Salina 39 years ago tonight. Here's Ryland Strong on the carry from one side to the other. He's going to lose 5 yards back to the 20-yard line. Interestingly enough, in that night, up in the booth, a coach for the Salina Bobcats was a young man named Steve Simmons, who ended up 2 years later becoming a Howe Bulldog assistant coach, and he's still here, and he's probably one of the biggest Bulldog legends that anyone's ever heard of or will hear of.
Now, did Howe play, I guess in the 80s there, I think you said 1980 they played Pilot Point?
That was 86.
Okay. So did they ever play Pilot Point when G.A. Moore was coaching them?
Oh, yeah. In the 1980s season, which was Buck Smith's first season, Howe got beat 43-0 that year, and that was Coach G.A. Moore's Co-State Championship team over here in Pilot Point that year. But, yeah, we played Salina against G.A. Moore my sophomore and junior year, won both games. Not too many people can say they played G.A. Moore and came out without a loss. I like to say that ever so often. We miss Coach Moore. I think a lot of him. He's a good human being. We're mourning his loss. Here's a handoff. Nothing doing there. As on the carry for Howe was Jaden Alcorn, his first carry of the season. We're seeing a lot of players on the field that we don't normally see, and Howe's going to go back in punt formation. Garrett Rogers will stand about his 12-yard line to punt this one away. There's 5:55 left to go in the game.
I did see Rocket Cross kind of go in motion on that last play, and he's limping pretty significantly.
Well, good to see him back in the game.
Of course, this may not be the game to see him out there playing right now. Is down by 48.
Kendall O'Brien checks into the game. He'll snap it to Garrett Rogers. I don't think they are worrying about the play clock these days, because I think that one had expired.
I think so.
Fernando Sanchez will down it at the 43-yard line of Pilot Point, and they'll take over there with a new set of downs. 5:18 on the clock here at Massey Stadium in Pilot Point, Texas.
What made those GA Moore teams successful, you think, when playing against them?
One is they ran a very similar to what Pilot Point's running on defense, that 10-1 special. They ran a 10-man, that 10-1 was a GA Moore staple. And the discipline, it's, from what I hear, and I've got some friends that we played against from Salina, some good friends over there, and they tell me very similar things about Coach Moore as the stories I have about Coach McQueen. Very similar type individuals, faith-driven. Those players never heard their coach's cuss. Man goes in motion. And here is Locke running up the middle. Knocked down hard. Stanley brings him down. And that's one thing I can say about going to school here in Howe and going through the program from 7th grade through 12th grade is not one time did I ever hear a coach cuss. Not one. Now, I heard a lot of dadgummits.
Yeah.
And hell it, whatever that means. But not one cuss word. And, you give it's a lot of respect is due to Jim Fryer and Joey McQueen for setting the tone for that kind of thing. Here's a toss around the right edge. First down for Pilot Point. It's Caleb Reed again, and they're into Howe territory at the 42-yard line. But, you watch movies and you see, the stereotype head football coach of high school football, and they're dog cussing their kids and all this kind of stuff. Well, obviously that doesn't have to be the recipe, because our teams went 6 rounds deep in the 2 years combined. So doing it by faith and by the right way can be successful. First down and 10, toss in the backfield, straight up the middle for about 4 yards. 3 minutes on the clock, and it is churning. Second down coming up at about 5. But, you know, I wrote an article in the Howe Enterprise right before Coach Smith was hired, pleading for that type of coach. You know, just wanting these kids to experience something similar that I experienced as someone who loves those kids and is not afraid to tell them that he loves them. You know, Coach McQueen was notorious for telling us that he loves us. And it's kind of weird at the time when you're a teenager, but as you grow up and you grow to be a parent, you understand that kind of situation and how hard that must have been for the young Coach McQueen to tell teenagers that he loved them. And
to get the team to buy into that.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And obviously, you know, these, not only, you know, these seniors are you can tell, I interview the seniors all the time. They've bought into Coach Jake Smith. They are completely sold on what he's preaching. But they're not going to be the main ones that are influencing this thing. It's a 7th grade, it's an 8th grade, it's a 9th grade, it's a 10th grade, it's the 11th grade. Those are the heart and soul of what's going to come to be of the Jake Smith era. There's a handoff left side. Pushing them back on defense is Howe. Nothing doing there. So, you know, tonight, 61-13. But the future of this thing, if you can get Coach Smith to commit to Howe for a long period of time, this thing's going to be very special. I think everyone can feel that. Anyone that's around the program can feel that.
Well, and we talked about too, I mean, he's just been here only 2 months.
Yeah, he got here July the 7th, for goodness sake. Quarterback keeper up the middle, close to a first down, but there's under a minute left to go in this football game.
And that's good for a Pilot Point, first down.
But yeah, he just got here 2 months ago, trying to get his staff together, trying to get the kids to believe in him. So, I mean, give this guy at least a year or so to get a full year under his belt.
It's remarkable how fast these kids have bought in to that philosophy and that system. And it just goes to show when you have somebody love you and care about you, you know, it makes a huge difference. I mean, that's good in life in general, not football.
That's kind of part of that psychological warfare you kind of got to play with the kids.
Yeah. And I know he's going to go in there and he's going to love on them. And, you know, Bill Parcells always had the philosophy. You think of Bill Parcells as being the tough coach who always just cuts everybody and all that kind of stuff. And he had the philosophy, when you win, you're hard on them. And when you lose, be easy on them. And of all people, for Bill Parcells, because he doesn't really have that persona when you think of Bill Parcells.
That is hard to believe he thinks that way.
but that is that's his theory. 61-13, our final score tonight. We have now entered the Texas Landed home team postgame show. We'll have some stats and some highlights coming up. I do not know if we'll have an interview from head coach Jake Smith. I wouldn't ask him to talk after this loss.
Yeah.
But last week he came up to Malin.
He approached
Malin? He approached Malin.
Okay.
So we'll have the school songs for each team right here.
Remember we talked about how Coach...
Now look at this. This is a Howe Bulldogs staple that Pilot Point is going through right now. This is a 1980s ritual. Spell it out after a game. And somewhere that was lost in Howe.
I do remember those.
But Chad Worrell has that planted right here in Pilot Point. And it, you know, you love to see that. But Howe now turns to the crowd for the school song. And Pilot Point takes a knee. Chad Worrell will talk to them. So 61-13, Howe will not flip any V on tonight in downtown Howe. But next week is the all-school reunion. SNS comes to town, and Howe's going to lick their wounds and try it again. and hopefully hang on to the football a little bit.
Yeah, that's got to be the main thing to talk about during the week is ball control, not shooting yourself in the foot and giving them opportunities. And we talked about it before, same thing. Guys are getting off the field. Parents aren't coming up and, hugging or anything right now. It's just kind of let's get off the field and let's get back in the locker room. And we're not going to celebrate. Not that they're celebrating, but.
Right. But if you don't turn the ball over tonight, you take 30 points off the board for Pilot Point, which gives them 31. And if any of those 4 drives result in touchdowns, let's say 2, well, that would be 31 to 27. That's if you don't turn the ball over and you only score on 2 of those drives. It's a much different game, but it never felt like a game, did it?
What did Coach Smith talk about at the coaches show using, was it Coach Cromwell's football software to see how many plays they were away from? I'm kind of curious, take away those turnovers, kind of how close you are.
Well, those are 4 right there that'll put you in the negative. And, they were 8, I think, against Boyd. And there were several turnovers against Boyd, so that number's going to go up. It was decreasing, and things were looking in the right direction heading into this football game, but 2 steps forward and perhaps 3, 4, 5 steps back, and you got to get back in a hurry. You got to take 5, 6 steps next week. And this team, what this team needs to do a week from now is bust somebody in the mouth and come out of there feeling really good about themselves. If they get up on S&S and are able to handle S&S because they're much better, it's not an auto win like it has been in the past. But if Howe's able to get up on top of S&S, at no point do they need to take the foot off the throat. If they can hang 70, they need to hang 70. This team needs that.
Yeah, they need a dominant win, because after that, the gimme wins are, not that S&S is a gimme win, but the games are going to get a lot tougher. I think you got Leonard, I believe, after that, maybe Callisburg, and there's going to be some tough opponents in there. You got Bells, you play Blue Ridge at the end of the season. Gunner obviously is never a walk in the park. The games will get tough here after next week, a lot tougher. So you need to come out and be dominant against S&S, set the tone for the district.
We're going to take a quick timeout here in the Texas Land and Home Team postgame show. When we come back, we'll have stats, highlights, and we'll do our final recap for the evening. We'll be right back.
Buying and or selling your next home or property should be an enjoyable experience. At Texoma Land and Home Team, our commitment to the personal relationship of each transaction ensures communication you expect, while assuring that we'll be here the next time you need us. We're not a big box real estate company by design. This freedom allows us to be fully at your service. Texoma Land and Home Team, Renee Nichols Broker, 903-818-1645. Texoma Land and Home Team, for all your real estate needs, 903-818-1645.
Here's some things to never mess with if you're not a trained professional. Caging a bulldog. Removing copperheads. And electricity. Don't get shocked. Call Rapid Electric. Rapid Electric is here for all your electrical needs. Just like you wouldn't try to become a pro boxer or president.
Give me a break.
You need a pro to keep your electricity humming. Don't get shocked. Rapid Electric serves the Grayson County area. Call them at 903-421-8100. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights is proud to sponsor the Pride of Howe High School's Bandsman of the Week. Your hometown Bulldog alumni owned and operated business is here for all your seamless gutter and outdoor Christmas lights needs. Give them a call at 903-819-9183 and let them make your house shine really bright this Christmas. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights. Give them a call at 903-819-9183. All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights. Welcome back. You're in the Texas Land and Home Team postgame show. Monty Walker along with Justin White, Jake Roberts, Stephen Braswell, and Malin Walker. I think we're just about ready for some highlights, for some stats, Mr. Braz. If you did carry that stat of yards after contact, as which Malin suggested, you would have been very, very, very busy tonight.
Yes, that is very true on that. I think
you were busy as it is.
Yeah. But I got to sit in the crowd tonight.
Yeah. We've got some stories about us being over here. Last time we were here, we hung our crowd mic out the window. We were upstairs, and we hung the crowd mic out the window, and you taped it to one of their flags. And it was kind of an awkward scene.
We did some engineering.
I've got video of that somewhere.
Braz,
that was 8 years ago.
Yes, that's
holy cow.
It's been a while.
I was in my early 40s. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
It's nice. Okay, so for some team stats regarding the Bulldogs, 37 rushes for 148 yards. And as far as passing went, Bender, he's 1 for 9. And the one was 6-yard reception. They lost 3 fumbles, unfortunately.
And the one pass for 6 yards also injured a player.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But it was good to see him come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had a total of 9 first downs for the game. Got to have a little more than that for sure. 154 yards total for the game.
And Knox Bounds had what, 143?
Knox Bounds would have had, give me a second here, and I'll tell you, he had 154.
So he had 154, and the offense in total
had 154. He had all the offense.
Wow.
When you talk about all the negatives, like Alcorn come in late, he had 4 yards of rushing on 2 carries. And Deacon Bender had 18 rushes. He actually had positive. He had 2 yards. But yeah,
that tells you a lot of negative yards are factored into that.
Garrett Rogers had -2 yards, Cross had -5, and Strong had -5.
Just on this desk inside here?
So yeah. But
yes, sir. That fell from upstairs. Someone set that there. It came from above.
And this for
well, thank you, sir.
For Pilot Point, their team, they were 3 for 10 on passing, 110 yards, 41 rushes, 326 yards.
So they completed 10 passes tonight and had come into the game with 11 passes on the season.
Yeah, the gentleman I was sitting next to said one of the reasons they were passing more toward when they had the score up, he said, it's kind of like a practice for us.
Yeah.
So we can get in sync.
That's always what you want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, had 41 rushes for 326 yards, 18 first downs, total of 436 yards for the game.
How much?
436. Receiving, Cross had the 1 reception for Howe, 6 yards. For Pilot Point, rushing wise, they had 10 rushers.
Yeah.
10 different kids run the ball.
I think 5 different rushers scored touchdowns.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yes, we had that many. As far as receiving wise, they had 3 players with the 1 reception in it and 1 touchdown on it. So
yep, kind of an interesting.
Yeah, that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
An interesting stat recap there. All pretty one-sided. And that going the side of the Pilot Point Bearcats. We're going to take a quick timeout, and when we come back, we'll have highlights from Jake Roberts. We'll be back right after this.
It's that time of year again where our beloved radio guy won't shut his trap about how hot it is up here in the press box. Thankfully, the good people at Baker Air Conditioning and Heating cool this thing down in no time.
Roger, we're dying over here.
Speaking of hot air, there he is. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating has been serving the community of Howe for nearly 60 years. Baker Air Conditioning and Heating is located on Highway 5, and you can call them at 903-532-6255.
Roger!
Anchors with a Z Boat and RV Storage is located 1 mile off of U.S. Highway 75 in Howe, Texas. Anchors Boat and RV Storage is proud to bring personal, small-town customer service to the growing area of North Texas. With both open and covered parking available, locally owned and operated, members of the Howe Area Chamber of Commerce and the Texas Self-Storage Association. Anchors Boat and RV Storage has 20 amp power available and is manager occupied at 311 Old Highway 6 in Howe. Visit anchorsboatrvstorage.com or call 903-444-2500.
Welcome back here in the Texas Land and Home Team postgame show. We've got the highlights from this contest tonight. It may take a while, but there's not a lot of Howe highlights. There's a lot of Pilot Point highlights from this football game. 61-13, the final score here at Massey Stadium in Pilot Point, Texas. We're part of this city is in Grayson County, if anybody realized that. A small portion on the northern edge is actually in Grayson County, most of it in Denton County. We'll start with this football game as Pilot Point opened at the 43-yard line. I think things kind of looked promising from the get-go as Pilot Point went 4 plays before this happened.
2 backs in the backfield, handoff. And that is Chumley breaking out of tackles in the backfield. Ball's on the turf, and this will be a big loss unless Howe has the football, and Howe has the football.
We gave credit to Charles Furr on the fumble recovery, which gave the ball back to Howe at their own 45-yard line, but had to punt. Pilot Point took over at their own 32-yard line. They drove 5 plays and 68 yards before it ended on a 17-yard touchdown by Caden David.
Toss right side. This is David again to the near corner. He is in untouched in the front corner of the south end zone, and Pilot Point takes the first lead tonight.
After the 2-point conversion, Pilot Point led 8-0 with 7:58 left to go in the first. Howe's second possession ended in another punt, which gave Pilot Point the ball at their own 33-yard line. They drove 9 plays and 67 yards before Josh Chumley scored from 10 yards out.
Evans toss right side. That's Chumley to the 5. Runs over. Right can cross.
That gave Pilot Point a 15-0 lead with 1:59 left to go in the first. Howe's next possessions did not go very well. They fumbled on this possession, which gave Pilot Point the ball at the Howe 41-yard line, and Pilot Point made them pay on a 31-yard touchdown by Dravian James.
Evans under center toss near side, looking for the corner, breaks out of a tackle, onto the 10, onto the 15, onto the 5, onto the end zone.
3 plays, 41 yards for Pilot Point, made it 22-0 with 10:47 left to go in the second. Howe's next possession, another fumble. That gave Pilot Point the ball at their own 13-yard line. And that drive resulted in a 4-play. It was at the Howe 13-yard line, I'm sorry. That drive resulted in 4 plays, 0 yards, because Anthony Torres booted a 30-yard field goal.
The kick from the middle of the field is up high and true. So add 3 to the already lead of Pilot Point, makes it 25-0 with 9:19 left to go before the half.
Howe's next possession, another fumble. That made 3 in a row on 3 straight possessions. This time, Pilot Point makes them pay on 1 play.
Near side, not even breaking tackles, wide open. I don't even think he's touched. That's Hunter Newman on his way for an 85-yard touchdown. Ends up right down the middle of the field, zigzagging.
1 play, 85 yards for Hunter Newman, 32-0 Pilot Point with 6:48 left to go before the half. The Howe highlight, it came on the next possession when Knox Bounds broke free.
Third down and 10. Handoff to Bounds. Left side. Follows Gage. Carr, look out. Here goes Bounds. 40, 30, 20, 10. Kiss him goodbye. Howe is on the board. Hallelujah.
Where's the Tylenol? That made it 32-6, as I stole that from Justin over there. That probably will make the highlights. I'll clip that in somewhere. The snap was high on the PAT, and Howe did not successfully convert that, so it stayed 32-6 with 4:27 left to go before the half. Pilot Point was not done. They started at their own 38-yard line, drove 7 plays, 62 yards, and scored here.
Under center goes Evans. Handoff right side, easy pickings into the end zone.
4-yard touchdown by Ashton Williams made it 39-6, and that became our halftime score. Move on into the second half. Riken Cross ran back an 80-yard kick return, which we do not have the highlight for that, but we will on the replay. And that made it 39-13 with 11:50 left to go in the third. Pilot Point came right back right after that kick return.
Score 39-13, and the Tech Wave kickoff is a pooch kick. It's going to bounce around and finally end up in the arms of a Pilot Point Bearcat coming all the way to the near side 40. Look out, 30. 25-20 down the sidelines. In for the score. Back-to-back kick returns, and this one is David Pickrell answering right back.
60 yards on the kick return as David Pickrell answered back 46-13. Pilot Point led with 11:37 left to go in the third. Howe started their next drive at their own 38-yard line and drove 7 plays before Mr. Pickrell intercepted Deacon Bender, and went 75 yards for the touchdown, made it 53-13 with 8:13 left. And then Howe punted, and then Pilot Point had a touchdown pass from Evans to Stuckley.
First and 10. Evans wants to throw, rolls out right. Throws on the run. It's going to be caught at the 30. Down the sidelines. Into the end zone goes tight end Case Stuckley.
38 yards on the pass and catch from Evans to Stuckley, and that gave us our final score 61-13 here at Massey Stadium in Pilot Point. Howe opens district play next week against S&S. Howe needs to get back in the win column and have that, the psychological aspect that we've been talking about throughout this game to kind of get back on track. Things were going so well for Howe, progressing. Even in the loss a week ago to Bowie, you could feel that things were getting better and better and better and better, and you were headed towards something that's going to get really good. Tonight, a major roadblock in the way of that progression. But for the Howe Bulldogs and Jake Smith, you hope it's just a 1-week setback, and you get back to business next week, Justin White.
Yeah, you try to look at the positives, and this is a good Pilot Point team. Again, is it 61-13 good? Maybe not, but it's a improved team. Chad Worrell's a good coach. He's got championship pedigree, so he's got this team, their arrows pointing up. But Bulldogs give up 3 turnovers and then give up 3 scores on those turnovers. But you just got to kind of forget about this. And the games really start next week against S&S. As we said earlier, you need a dominant win to come out there to set the tone for the week. Kind of forget about this as much as possible and go out there and play like you're capable of playing next week.
Jake Roberts, your final thought?
Yeah, usually I always try to find something positive in games like this, because I know that these are definitely down times, and especially in losses like this on the road, 61-13. Someone who's really impressed me all season is Eli Stoner, and again, he's come to play, and he just seems like he's always in the right place making big tackles for this team. And so as a final thought, I just kind of wanted to point that out as a little bit of a silver lining maybe on your defense.
Stephen Braswell, your final thought for this evening?
Well, the one silver lining, a positive, Howe only had 4 penalties tonight. That's the lowest for for the year
There you
so
go.
far.
There you go.
So, I mean, one of the things they just need to do is cut down on turnovers also.
Yeah, it's hard to win football games.
Yeah. Bender had another interception night, and then we had 3 fumbles. So 4 lost, 4 turnovers.
Yeah, that's tough.
And they all resulted in points, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, every turnover resulted in points tonight for Pilot Point.
Yes.
And we were talking about if you take those 4 turnovers off the board, that you take 30 points off the 61, and if Howe scores twice on those 4 turnovers, it's 30-21. 30-27. 30-27.
Tight game.
It is a much different game.
Yeah.
But, that didn't happen that way.
And I think, too, those penalties should not be overlooked. I mean, especially when we had Howe had all the delay games last week. You didn't see that here tonight. Now, you saw a lot more other miscues with some, bobble snaps.
False starts.
False starts, things like that. I mean, but stuff that can be corrected. But, yeah, having only 4 penalties. You did 3 penalties, 4 penalties?
4.
4. I mean, that's going to be something positive you got to be looked at.
Malin Walker, your final thought?
Well, this game's kind of interesting. You kind of have to have a team-wide cornerback mentality, but with this loss, you also have to live it. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, you can't let this loss define you. You have to just forget about it. But also, you kind of need to have a vacation home in the film room. You got to ask yourself, why did we have so many turnovers? Why did we have so many plays that looked like they kind of just fell apart at the beginning? Why couldn't we stop the run? Why did we have a team that only had 11 passes complete 10 or attempt 10 passes? They doubled their passes. Why did that happen? This is the perfect time to learn from your mistakes. It's the last game of a non-district game. You put all that effort and you start to roll with district games that really start to count.
Very good assessment. My final thought, stop turning the ball over. Stop it.
It's easy as that.
Stop turning the ball over. It's easier to win football games when you don't turn the ball over. Every coach in America will tell you that. And it is Howe's had some struggles with turning the ball over so far in this season. And it started with Boyd. It can, they didn't do it against Bonham, but they only had a half to play.
Right.
And they, it continued against Bowie. And here it's continued again. Now you have a sophomore quarterback, and so you're going to have those growing pains. But at some point, you've got to stop making mistakes if you're going to get to where you want to be. The best team always is the one who makes the least mistakes. It's not always the one who makes the most plays. It's the ones who make the least amount of mistakes. So if Howe can stop making the mistakes and be more attentive to the fine-tuning those things, and just like Malin said, vacation in the film room. I never heard that phrase before, but I think that's what some of these kids are going to have to do. Not every kid likes to watch film, especially linemen. The receivers and the backs, when they make great plays, they like to watch film because they like to watch themselves make those great plays. Linemen, but linemen are going to have to be a part of this too, and study and learn in that film room.
But if somebody say Monty Walker should not be watching more film than other players or coaches.
Yeah, that was a while ago, though. So 61-13 here, our final here at Massey Stadium in Pilot Point, and I don't know if we'll see Pilot Point on the schedule again next year or not. I would vote no, because they're going to be pretty good, but those things may have already been decided. I'm not sure. So for everyone who's been a part of this one, including Justin White, Jake Roberts, Stephen Braswell, Malin Walker, I'm Monty Walker, and we'll see you next time at the all-school reunion next week against S&S. So long, everybody.
You've been listening to the Texas Land and Home Realty Team post-game show. Howe Bulldogs football is a product of Studio 42. The full replay of the game will be available within minutes on this same link on YouTube, Howe Bulldogs football is brought to you by Scoggins Funeral Home, Baker Air Conditioning and Heating, South State Bank, GC Easy, Sonic of Howe. Also brought to you by Brother Plumber, Rock Hill Investments, MTE Fence, Centurion American, Ed Meacham State Farm, Rapid Electric. Also brought to you by All In Custom Gutters and Christmas Lights, TechWave, First Baptist Church of Howe, Kingdom Inflatables, Anchors Boat and RV Storage, The Love Cottage. Also brought to you by Howe Athletic Booster Club, Michelle Carney Photography, Texoma Land and Home Team, The Crazy AC Guy.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all, or they do.